What up, everybody? Happy Halloween. I'm going to wait a few minutes just to get a few people in here before I start going. I'll either wait, I'll wait till there's 20 people in here or 5 minutes, whatever comes first. Hopefully the 20 people get here first, but hope everyone's Halloween was freaking awesome. What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining. Well, I'm going to go through as many as I can. I don't know if I'm getting through all of them or not. We're filling up fast, so it looks like I'm going to start. I'll wait, thanks to A Camel Toes and the Foundation for plugging this on their channels. Halloween was good, man. Halloween was good. So I'll wait 2 minutes, 3 minutes, let more people come in here if possible. And the Knicks are playing tonight. What's up, guys? So you probably can't see all those sitting over there, but we're gonna try to go through. We're gonna try to go through all of these. There's films behind these. It's 2 piles with the stuff, and then I probably got another 60 or 70 over there that I could not fit on the table. So I'm gonna go through as many as I can. What I'm going to do, I'm gonna start with some of the common ones. I'm going to start with the very common ones, the ones everybody knows. And as I get through the movies that I really like, I will mention where they fall in my top 10 favorite horror films of all time. So I'm glad that everybody's here. I've been plugging this for a while, so I'm hoping I get a big crowd. Like I said, A Camel Toes and the Foundation. Thank you guys for plugging this today, putting it on there to have people come in and see me. I'm glad you all can make it. Halloween 3, you're going to actually find out when we get to that, TJ, which will be right at the beginning here, how much I actually do enjoy that film. I'm not going to go over every film in detail because I would never get through most of these. I'll probably tell you little things about it, what I like about it. Obviously, if it's more common or it's more rare, I might go into more detail about it, especially the rare ones, just so you know what you're getting into. I will tell you if I recommend it. I will tell you if it sucks. If it's like if it's something I think you haven't seen, like Halloween 3, I'm not going to say, ooh, this movie, because you've probably seen it. But some of these Italian horror movies, some of the more obscure slasher films that I have, I'll let you know, hey, this film's a piece of crap, but I like it. Again, I appreciate everybody being here. I'm going to start in about, we'll wait another minute. I have not seen Geomon in here yet. Where's the birthday boy? I don't see the birthday boy in here. This is all for him. The birthday boy. I've heard mixed reviews about the new Halloween. So I will see that eventually. Have not. So I've been asked that a lot. I have not seen the new Halloween. But okay, I'm going to wait another minute and then we're going to go. I'm hoping Geomon gets in here. Happy Halloween, everyone. Happy Halloween, Don. I thank you guys for joining. I really do. Much appreciated. Like I said, if you guys like horror films, I think you'll like this. I do have quite a few. Like I've been doing this for a while with these, and I love freaking. Yeah, I'm gonna G-Man. I'm gonna plug his channel tomorrow. I'm gonna do a video, and I'll plug his channel because I had a great time working with the entertainer. The guy is freaking awesome. We plan on doing. What's up, Magic? How you doing? We plan on doing like a weekly thing about the Giants, and I'm really looking forward to working with him because Chris is a great guy, and we probably talked for a good hour after that was over, so it was a lot of fun. Where the hell is Geomon? What the hell is he doing fashionably late on his birthday? All right, so I'm going to start. I'm going to start right now. Ready? Like I said, we're starting with the common ones tonight. This is my favorite horror film of all time. Halloween. I don't need to say much about Halloween, okay? It is probably the most influential horror film of all time. For a long time before the Blair Witch Project came out, this was the best independent grossing horror film of all time. It was made in 1978. It cost about $325,000 to make. They made $60 million. There was no internet to plug this, so word of mouth got around. This film is, you probably all know this, okay? But this is simple. It's straightforward, but it's as effective as a punch in the throat. I've probably seen this film 500 times, no exaggeration, and I freaking love it every time. It doesn't matter. I never get sick of it. It is absolutely awesome. It is just, like I said, John Carpenter's score is amazing in this film, and it's legendary. It created the slasher craze of the early 80s, which I loved. So Halloween. I don't know where I'm going to put these when I'm done with them either. So I guess I'm just going to stack them up on the floor for now. So Halloween 2. It's the sequel to Halloween. John Carpenter even said how he wrote this script with a lot of liquor and said, how the hell am I going to write the same movie twice? But this was a good sequel. I mean, it's not great, but it's a good sequel. Halloween 3. I'm going to talk about this one for a little bit. This gets freaking bashed a lot, a ton. This is my favorite sequel in this series, in this franchise. This is unfairly bashed, and I'll tell you why. The reason it's unfairly bashed is because it's called Halloween 3. There's no Michael Myers in it. This is a fantastic story. It has a great soundtrack, great synth score. The setting is amazing, and it's a really good story. I mean, there's plot holes everywhere in this film, like the masks that kill everybody. Happy birthday, Geomon. What's up, my man? Good to have you in here. So there's plot holes everywhere. These masks kill kids, and there's a big giveaway at 9 o'clock, okay? Now, 9 o'clock what? 9 o'clock Eastern time, 9 o'clock Central time. Who the hell knows? This takes place in Los Angeles. So if it's 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, every time zone is dead since this is one of the last time zones in the world, Los Angeles, but whatever. It's unfairly bashed. If it was just called Season of the Witch, I probably would have got better reviews. But a real quick backstory into this. The reason this was made the way it was is because after Halloween 2, John Carpenter kills off Michael Myers. The explosion in the hospital kills him and Donald Pleasance. Michael Myers is dead. It's over. He didn't want to do any more Michael Myers stuff. So he got rid of Michael Myers. What he was going to do was make a different film every Halloween in a Twilight Zone type of film based around Halloween. But because of the poor reviews and the bad backlash, he stopped and gave it over to Mustafa Akkad, who started taking the sequels to where they went to. So Halloween 3. And then, Halloween 4, whatever. It's not a horrible one. It's not great. But then they start to suck. Halloween 5 sucks. I don't care. It's not good. It's a really stupid storyline between Curse of Michael Myers, Halloween 6. It's actually on AMC right now. I have that in the background. Halloween, the original, comes on after this. And hopefully I'm still streaming by that point. But Halloween 6. Halloween H2O was not a fan of this either. They brought back Jamie Lee Curtis thinking this was going to be something special. Didn't like it. They had LL Cool J in it. Why are you bringing rappers into horror movies? I don't know. But and guys, if I'm not responding to you there, man, I'm sorry because I'm trying to go through these and I'll look once in a while. But, there's a lot to go through. So don't think I'm ignoring you or anything if I don't see your comment, okay? So, yeah, Halloween H2O and then Halloween Resurrection. Again, Busta Rhymes. I mean, really, a reality show. Just it's caca, but it's a Halloween movie, so I had to have it in my collection. Nightmare on Elm Street. Who don't know about Nightmare on Elm Street? One of the most legendary classic horror films of all time. This is not my top 10 favorite horror films, though. So, but I do absolutely love Nightmare. Who doesn't? Freddy Krueger is one of the greatest villains of all time. Robert Englund is amazing in this film. And by 1984, the slasher pick was kind of done. This was something very creative and new and fresh. And this is it's legendary. I mean, this is one of the most legendary horror films of all time. Wes Craven, one of the greatest horror film directors of all time, did this one. And it's fantastic. I don't have any other sequels of Nightmare on Elm Street except for the Dream Warriors. I will eventually get part 2. Part 2 is not terrible. I didn't like part 2. But then after the Dream Child, they're terrible. I don't want them. This is actually a good film. Heather Langenkamp makes her reappearance. John Saxon reappears in it. And this is a good sequel. Not to mention there's a good soundtrack in it. And I believe Patricia Arquette debuts. I don't know if it's her debut, but I think it's Patricia Arquette is in this. I could be wrong. I get her and Rosanna Arquette screwed up, but I think it's Patricia Arquette if I'm not mistaken. It is Patricia Arquette. So I don't know if this was her debut or whatever, but Halloween 3 is a very good film. I'll wait on those. So then, of course, you got Michael Myers and you had Freddy Krueger. So who's left? Who's left? Jason. Friday the 13th, again, a huge, Sean Cunningham directed this, a huge boost in the slasher craze of the early 80s. Listen, out of all of them, this is probably the worst out of the Halloween, the original Halloween. And This is my least favorite out of those three guys. But I mean, I really like Friday the 13th, don't get me wrong. Every one of these is the same, pretty much. This one's actually pretty good. Kevin Bacon makes his film debut in this. But I mean, I like Friday the 13th. Again, it's not in my top 10 of all time, but I really, I love this film. It's great. So then as it goes, part 2. Again, I like the sequel. It's got one of the best kill scenes when the dude is in the wheelchair and he gets the hatchet in the head and goes rolling down the stairs. It makes me laugh because I'm psycho. But this is part 2, part 3, which is one of my favorites as well as the sequel. Part 4, the final chapter. This is the final chapter of what? The first series of books, because this is not the final chapter. A young Corey Feldman is in this film. And again, it's pretty much all the same crap. It's a bunch of teenagers having sex, getting high, and getting killed. And that's what it is. Part 5, A New Beginning. If anyone's seen this, they know this is not like the other Friday the 13th. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, so I'm not going to tell you who the killer is, although most of you have probably seen What's Up, Killer Tapes. But part 5. Part 6, Jason Lives. I actually like this sequel. Don't ask me why, but I like it. Part 7, The New Blood, with the chick with the telekinesis that fights him and does things with her mind. I actually like this one too, go figure, but again, it's just, they are what they are. Part 8, stupid as shit. This film is not good at all. Jason X, another one that is absolutely horrible. But again, it's a Jason film and whatever. I had to have this when I watched it. It wasn't terrible. No, I shouldn't say it. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing. You notice part 9 is missing. Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell, it's unwatchable. I don't own that film. I may, if I can find it for $2 or $3, I'll probably do it just to complete the cycle of the Friday the 13th. But I do not like that film whatsoever. Yes, exactly. That movie's terrible. And then, of course, Freddy versus Jason. This wasn't actually that bad. I saw the first showing of this in the movie theater. As soon as it opened up, I went because I'm like, I have to watch. I know it's going to be cheesy. I know it's going to not be great, but I had to watch it. So those are your 3 main horror villains of all time. So as you can see, I pretty much own everything there, except, like I said, I don't like the Nightmare on Elm Street series. I really don't. I just like those 2 films. Part 2 is not horrible. The Amityville Horror, starring Margot Kidder. A lot of people freaked out by this film. It's actually loosely based on true events of, I believe the guy's name is Ron DeFeo, who heard voices in his head and killed his family. He's in prison somewhere if he's still alive. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it was based on Ron DeFeo killing people. But Amityville Horror is it's a solid horror film. No horror film is fantastic. There's some that are great. Like Halloween's a great film, not just a great horror film. There's some that are great or really good horror films that aren't great movies. But the Amityville Horror is a pretty good film. I just see somebody said The Possession was good too. There it is. Part 2, The Possession. And then part 3, The Demon. I don't own any Amityville Horrors after this because at this point they just get silly. But, I had to buy the first 3 of them. Let's save those. And let's go with these. So Stephen King obviously is a great horror novelist. And a lot of his films, oh shoot, am I missing one? Oh no, it's in there. A lot of these you'll see they're in chronological order. This is why they're all they're not filed correctly over there because I'm OCD about things. I like them in chronological order and I like them by director. I like everything together like that. So I do everything in chronological order. So I actually did have to redo this over there because they were out of order. So this was just a good time to do it. But the Stephen King stuff, a lot of his novels became films. A lot of his novels became great films. What's up, Entertainer? How you doing? Yes, absolutely. Tomorrow I'm going to do a video and I'm going to plug your channel and leave a link down there. So I'm going to definitely plug you. If you guys, I'll plug you now too. If you have not subbed to The Entertainer Talking Sports down there, please subscribe to his channel. We did a collab last night. It was fantastic. I love working with the guy. Chris is a great dude. I mean, we talk Giants because he's a New York fan like me. He likes the Mets, not the Yankees. I mean, we're not all perfect, but he's a he's a great dude. We plan on collabing once a week and doing live streams about the Giants. But he's got great content. If you're a fan of New York teams or just a fan of good football content, definitely check out the Entertainment Talking Sports. You guys need to sub him up because the dude is freaking awesome. So let's get into the Stephen King novel films. Geomon, you're wearing your birthday suit? Well, that might be a horror film in itself. I'm just teasing you, brother. Happy birthday, man. I think I said that when you came in. But, okay, so the Stephen King films. Carrie. Again, these are probably I believe these are chronological order. This was released in 1976. It is one of the classic horror films of all time. I'm pretty sure you all know the premise. I'm pretty sure you've all seen this. I really don't need to go over it. Sissy Spacek and what's her name? Piper Laurie. Fantastic in this movie. A young John Travolta is in this movie. PJ Souls, who is also in Halloween. She's in it. And again, just it's a great film. I mean, it's one of the absolute classics of all time. I don't want to knock the stack over. Another classic Stephen King film, and probably my favorite of all the Stephen King films that he did was The Shining. I mean, just legendary. This is right outside of my top 10. This would probably be 12th all time for me. Just, I mean, the setting. What makes a good horror film to me is the setting, the score, you know, the feeling of eeriness and uneasiness, the suspense. I love that stuff. This has everything. I mean, this is just an absolute great. Yes, here's Johnny. It's a phenomenal film. It is awesome on so many levels. It's 2.5 hours long, but you never know it because you just love it. You get hooked on it. It seems like it's an hour long. It's not one of these films that drags forever. It's slow paced at the beginning, but it's setting this, you know, it's setting the tone. And even the hotel is a huge character in this. It is just I love this freaking movie. Love it. Cujo, Killer Dog, Rabid Dog, Saint Bernard. Every time you see if you've seen this film, every time you've seen a Saint Bernard, you call him Cujo. It's the first thing you're going to think of. You're going to think of this. I do not. Was made in 1990. You're not going to find that in my collection. I don't like that film, believe it or not. I don't like the movie It. But again, this isn't the greatest film of all time. But I love Cujo. I mean, the novel is actually better than the movie, because you get to go in and decide what the dog is thinking. But obviously, it's a classic. I mean, who the hell doesn't know anything about Cujo? What's up, Foundation? I want to thank you. Weren't in here. I want to thank you for plugging this stream earlier today on your video. But so this is a good movie. It's not the best movie, but once Cujo becomes rabid and starts to this is a slow-paced film at the beginning, but it picks up at the end, and it's very suspenseful. And you've probably all seen Cujo. The Dead Zone. Don't really know if you'd consider this a horror movie or not, but it is a Stephen King film. It's very intriguing. It's not really a horror film, but it's a really good film. Christopher Walken's in it, and it's fantastic. So again, it's more of a slower paced thing, and it's not really a horror movie, but it is a Stephen King film. So I just kind of stick it in this collection because it's a really good movie. I mean, it's very different than a lot of things, so it's very cool. Christine. I love Christine. John Carpenter directed this. John Carpenter is my second favorite director. He's my favorite American director of all time. I absolutely love John Carpenter films. I think John Carpenter is an absolute genius. The man is fantastic. Again, great synth score in this. And, you know, it's about a possessed car. But the film is done so well. This is another one that, even though it's not in my top 10 favorite horror films of all time, whenever Christine is on, I find myself watching it for whatever reason. I just really like the movie. I think it's really well done. I love that freaking car, by the way. The car is just I would kill to drive one of those cars. Not the possessed one, obviously, but just I love the movie. It's just a real. Again, this isn't the best movie, but I really, really like Christine a lot. Children of the Corn. This is pretty pretty silly. Linda Hamilton's in it. The kids sacrificing people to their demon in the cornfield. It's ridiculous. But again, it's a Stephen King film. It's decent. Not my favorite, but good enough. Definitely good enough to have in my collection. Definitely good enough to watch. You know, I mean, it's pretty good. It's not great. It's pretty good. Silver Bullet. Corey Haim, Gary. Who don't love Gary Busey? Yeah, Gary Busey is the man. Dude's psycho, but he's fantastic. He's a great guy. All right, just a funny dude. But you know, Silver Bullet. Obviously, it's about a werewolf killing off townspeople, and they're trying to figure out who exactly a werewolf is. Young Corey Haim is in this, and again, it's not the best werewolf movie ever, but it's not terrible either. Definitely watchable if you haven't seen this. If you like werewolves, it's a pretty good movie. I see people asking about certain movies. I don't have The Mist, but you know, I don't have every horror film ever made, guys. Oh, I'm going to get to one of the worst horror films I've ever seen, Fizz. Trust me on this. Yeah. And then Graveyard Shift. This is the last of the Stephen Kings I own. This film sucks. It's not good. It's very corny. But I love it. Don't go figure. It's very cheesy. I do like the creature at the end. It's hard to see. It's kind of dark, but this is damn good. I mean, it sucks, but I like it. I mean, this is definitely not one of the better films that came out of a Stephen King novel, but again, if you like Stephen King novels turned into horror films, you should watch Graveyard Shift. And I don't have Pet Sematary. Go figure. That's it's one I have to. I definitely have to add Pet Sematary. I'd like to add Salem's Lot. I mean, again, guys, I can't buy every horror film ever made. So there are films that you see the hands I just had way better than Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram would have dropped that. Did you see how quick my reflexes were on that? Evan Ingram would have definitely dropped that. I do not have a Twitter, guys. Don't have Twitter. Don't have Instagram. This is the only thing I do here. All right, The Mist. I'll keep that in mind. I'll definitely keep The Mist in mind. But yeah, a Graveyard Shift. So that's the end of the Stephen King. So what is this pile? This is a cluster of a bunch of. Let's go with this one. There's a couple of rare ones in here. There's a couple ones you probably haven't seen. The Entity. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this. I can tell you this. There are very few horror films in my life that I watched that scare me. This came out in 1982. Barbara Hershey's in it. Loosely based on real events about a ghost that beat this woman and raped her. It was her dead boyfriend or whatever. He was very violent in real life, comes back and, you know, does the same thing. This movie scared the hell out of me when I was a kid. The absolute violent attacks, the music that they just do when she's getting attacked. I mean, you got to see. If you haven't seen this, it's a good one to watch. This is This is a rare horror film. A lot of people probably haven't seen this, but this is one to check out. It's like I said, it's a good ghost. So the ending sucked though. The ending was. I don't like cliffhangers. The ending was really kind of what the hell just happened, but the movie's damn good. If you haven't seen this, I recommend that you watch this because this is a good movie. This one everybody's seen. We don't get this was another Stephen. I should have put this in with the Stephen King stuff because this is Stephen King and George Romero. Well, that Stephen King actually directed this, but based on the E.G. comics in the 50s. Unbelievable horror film. Fantastic. Leslie Nielsen's in it. Ted Danson's in it. Hal Holbrook is in it. Fritz Weaver's in it. E.G. Marshall is in it. Tom Atkins is in it. Gets no credit, but he's at the beginning of it. Jesus, who's the guy at the beginning? The guy's name. It's gonna make me mad. Adrienne Barbeau is in it. I forgot her. There's another guy in it I can't think of. The Crate. The Tide. I forgot what the hell the name of that one is. And well, actually, every one of these is good, except for the one that stars Stephen King, where he turns into the weed. I'm not a big fan of that one. But if nobody, I'm not in it. No. If you have not seen Creepshow, do yourself a favor and whatever. Watch it on Netflix, buy the movie. I don't care. Watch this. If you haven't seen Creepshow, watch it. So it's a great movie. This is one of the best horror films ever made. Here's some cheesy slasher picks. Sorority House Massacre. You can definitely see the influence Halloween had on this. But just another cheesy, I think this was made in 86, just a cheesy slasher ripoff of Halloween and everything else that was done. But this is right up my alley. I love cheesy 80s horror flicks. Sorority House Massacre. Again, people have probably seen this one, or one of the original video nasties that was ripped out of the freaking movie theaters. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Actually, this one includes Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 and 2. Part 2 is useless, but I said, well, if I can get both of them, why wouldn't I get both of them? But again, if you have not seen Silent Night, Deadly Night about the killer Santa Claus, naughty, do it. I don't like remakes. I hate remakes. But I've always said, and if you've seen this film, you know the part where the grandfather's in the home talking to the little kid and scaring him about Santa Claus. I always said, if they remake this film, I want to play that grandfather that scares the shit out of the little kid. I love that guy. I'm like, I want to play that character in a remake. Now, dress me up really old and let me scare the kid, because I love that part of the movie. But just again, your typical 80s slasher pick, a killer Santa Claus. Nudity, gore, fantastic. Obviously, the kill scene with the sled is amazing. But Silent Night, Deadly Night. Again, if you haven't seen that one, that's recommended viewing. This one is more rare. I waited for a long time for this to come out on DVD. One Dark Night. I saw this on PBS years ago, late night, and it's a really good movie. It's, they kind of have a chick. She's supposed to get into this cool group in school, and they have an initiation, and they wanted to spend the night in a mausoleum, and they, they try to dress up as dead people and scare her. They lock her in there, and they find out that there's some dude with telekinesis powers that do make all these bodies come back to life, and they, obviously they go after them all. But if you haven't seen One Dark Night, this, again, it's a little known horror film, but it's really good. It's made in 83, and I love these cheesy 80s horror movies. I really do. They're just fantastic. Something appealing about them to me. And again, I grew up in this era, so obviously I prefer this era. But One Dark Night is something you should look at. It's a little known horror movie, but it's really good. I think it's a really good horror movie. It's little known, but it's a pretty good horror movie. This one's classic. Phantasm. The Tall Man, Angus Scrimm. The soundtrack to this, I think Don Coscarelli directed this, but the score is unbelievable. This, yes, there you go, Geomon. Boy, I love Phantasm. If you like horror films, especially 70s horror films, and you have not seen Phantasm, you need to see Phantasm. Again, absolute classic horror film, in my top 20 horror films of all time. I've not seen The Visit. But again, you got to see Phantasm if you haven't seen it. Here is another one, and I think I've only watched this twice, so I'm not really going to be able to talk about it. I really forget what the hell this is about, because I think I saw this in 2000. High Tension. I forgot I even had this movie. Very gory killings, by the way, and I believe this is a French horror film, if I'm not mistaken. But again, I just remember the killings being really gory, and this is just something I had to have, and I'm pretty sure I bought it just because of the amount of violence in the killings, which is very important to me as a horror film. What up, Sports Free? What's up, Josh? How you doing, man? Yeah, I'm kind of in it. I really haven't gotten through a lot of rare stuff yet. It's been mostly well-known stuff. But High Tension might not be something you've seen. So again, if you like really gory killings, the story's kind of weird. I do remember that, but if you like gory killings, watch it. This one, absolutely classic. One of the greatest transitions of a werewolf of all time. Probably the greatest transformation into a werewolf of all time. And you guys know what I'm talking about? You must know. I'm waiting to see it over there because it's the best. It's the best transformation into a werewolf ever on screen. Come on, guys. You know what it is. Somebody knows what it is. Nope, not The Howling. There you go, Mike. Yes, guys, American Werewolf in London. John Landis directed this, and again, this is another absolutely classic horror film. And again, these are popular. I mean, you guys have all seen these, but yes, the transformation scene is it's out of this world, especially for 1981 when this was made. The effects in this were incredible, way ahead of their time. This is fantastic. Going back to the 60s, Alfred Hitchcock, my Hitchcock stuff got screwed up. It's not in order. It should be in order. But The Birds is, again, I love early 60s, late 50s horror films. This, if you haven't seen it, again, it's not violent or anything, and it's just, you never know why the birds are attacking. But again, any Hitchcock movie is really more suspense than horror, but still, Alfred Hitchcock is the frickin' man, one of the greatest directors of all time. So again, if you haven't seen The Birds and you like Hitchcock, you probably have seen it. But if you haven't, and you want to see an Alfred Hitchcock movie and you don't mind a slow-moving thing with a better storyline, rather than just absolute gore and guts everywhere, you can check The Birds out. That's not a horror movie. I don't know why Nighthawks is in with this, but if you haven't seen Nighthawks, this is a freaking good movie. It's not a horror movie. I don't know why the hell it's in with these. Check this out anyway. This is a damn good action film. It's Sylvester Stallone, Rutger Hauer, and Billy D. Williams. Awesome freaking movie. I don't know why the hell it's in with my horror movies, but this is a great movie anyway. Put that aside. Another classic, Rosemary's Baby. I mean, you guys have all seen Rosemary's Baby. Just a phenomenal film. Just freaking awesome. So again, this is just a great horror movie. Absolute classic. What's up, Dustin? Absolute classic horror movie. If you have never seen Rosemary's Baby, do yourself a favor and watch this movie. It's creepy as hell. It's a damn good movie. One of the more underrated horror films, in my estimation, this came out the same year as The Sixth Sense did, and I believe it's underrated, is Stir of Echoes with Kevin Bacon. I love this. Gave me chills a couple of the scenes in this, which doesn't usually happen, but there's a couple things that are just really creepy to me. And I really, really, really like the story. I think it's something that really grabs a hold of you, and you want to find out. And you don't really know what the hell is going on. You're trying to put the pieces together, and at the end of it, you're like, oh, that's what happened. So it's just a really good. You really have to pay attention because it goes back and forth a little bit. It goes in the past. You got to pay attention to it, but. Amazing film that really doesn't get the credit because The Sixth Sense came out the same year. But I think this is better than The Sixth Sense, and I really, really like Stir of Echoes. If you have not seen it, check out Stir of Echoes. Here we go. You guys have probably seen this. Another cheesy 80s horror movie. Came out before Child's Play, so they can't say they bit off Child's Play. Child's Play kind of bit off of this. Dolls. Real midnight film, not really well known, but awesome movie. I figure it's about killer dolls. And a bunch of people that get stuck in a house on a stormy night, and there's some bad people and the dolls go after them. There's some good people and the dolls help them. But this, again, if you like 80s horror movies, Dolls. It's a great movie. One of the few horror films that and I've mentioned this in my streams before, that I like from this century. I don't like Eli Roth. I don't think Eli Roth is a good horror film director. I think Eli Roth thinks he knows more than he does about horror films. I hate that he hosts everything. Did not like Cabin Fever one bit. Thought Cabin Fever sucked. But this movie is freaking awesome. Hostel is... This movie just goes hard left turn out of nowhere. At the beginning of it, it's all drugs and sex and nudity, and they're all having a good time, and just everything's great. And then... boom, it just hard left turn. One thing that I really freaking like about this movie, if you pay attention to it, is at the beginning of the movie, the colors, as everything is really happy, the mood's really happy, the colors are lavish, they're bright, and as things start to go haywire and start to get more weird and more dreary, the colors change and become very drab. Even the chicks' appearances at the beginning, they're all really beautiful, they're all done up, and then at the end, they're all weathered and haggard. So you can see as the mood changes, the colors change. And listen, I don't want to ruin it if you haven't seen it, but there is one scene in here that I knew what happened. And when the dude got up from the chair, even though I knew what happened, I was like, it is cringeworthy. Eli Roth did a really good job with this one. Hostel, if you have not seen it and you like gory freaking killings, you like a good gory movie, this is your movie. And of course, there's a lot of TNA in it. So who the hell, what guy don't like that? So anyway, you have to see that if you haven't. These are more rare. Now you're going to see more rare films. A lot of these are out of print, so some of these are actually worth some money. Believe it or not, I didn't know that. But Michael Ironside's one of my favorite guys. William Shatner's in this movie. Anytime you have a Shatner movie, you're good. Visiting Hours. Michael Ironside just stalks a news reporter in the hospital, tries to kill her. But Michael Ironside's a great villain. But Visiting Hours. Again, it's a little known film made in '82, and if you haven't seen Visiting Hours, again, you like early '80s slasher picks, even if they're a little cheesy and kind of foolish or silly. Visiting Hours, if you can find it, it's a pretty damn good movie. Another great movie, and again, this is out of print. Actually, I knew this was out of print, and this is like $60 or $70 on Amazon. Is Alone in the Dark. Jack Palance is in it. Donald Pleasance is in it. So pretty much there's a new psychiatrist doctor in this asylum, and the patients don't like him. And one night they break out and they go and terrorize him and his family in their house. Awesome freaking movie. It's not well known at all. It's probably a little scene. And again, it's out of print. It's been out of print forever. By the way, guys, you want to see the kind of stuff, the way I keep my DVDs. Look at how perfect that is. I keep every freaking one of them like this. They're all almost brand new. I am so OCD about my films. If I open every one of these, well, I should just start opening the things. You'll see every one of them is like that. They're perfectly straight because I have a freaking issue with it. But Alone in the Dark, if you can find this, watch it. I don't know how many of you have seen this, but this is a damn good movie, and it's very underrated. It's not well known, but Alone in the Dark is a good one. This one is more well known. It has one of the greatest kill scenes of all time. Head explosion, Michael Ironside. Again, Scanners. David Cronenberg. It's a classic. If you haven't seen Scanners, again, I recommend this. There's going to be some movies that I tell you when I get into them that they're going to suck, and I wouldn't recommend them. But I am OCD about these things. Oh, here. There you go. I get mad that they don't put books in them anymore. But Scanners is fantastic. This one you might not have seen before. Joel Spinell of Rocky fame. You know, he's Gazzo. Tom Savini did the effects for this one. I'll open it up and you can see once again how perfect it is. Maniac. This has some of the best kill scenes ever. Joel Spinell is a psycho. He's a serial killer, and he's a legit serial killer because he's very normal during the day. He actually dates a model, but he kills all these women, and he scalps them, and he throws them on mannequins in his house because his mother screwed him up as a child. It's early 80s. It's cheese galore. It's violent. It's got gory killings. If you like that type of thing, you have to watch Maniac. This is a great freaking film. Now, you all know Evil Dead, right? Everyone's seen Evil Dead. Evil Dead is Bruce Campbell, and Sam Raimi directed it. And Evil Dead is one of the goriest, cheesiest, funniest horror films ever. I freaking love Evil Dead, right? Evil Dead is amazing. It's an amazing film. So everyone probably has their DVD or they've seen Evil Dead, right? You've all seen Evil Dead. But have you seen Evil Dead in that case? Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead. This thing, again, I'm showing you on OCD. I keep it in the damn container, but I want to open it and show you what this looks like because this is so freaking cool. Again, this is another thing. It's just you can't find these. It's very rare. Jesus, it's been so long since I opened this. I don't even remember how the hell to open it. Well, I don't want to ruin the damn thing. How the hell do I get it out of here? There we go. See? Ear on the back of it. It's like, I don't even know what the hell this is made of. But look at how cool this is inside. Like, it's just, this is freaking awesome. But look at, I'm telling you, I keep my stuff pristine. I don't like anyone touching my stuff. But this is really freaking awesome. I mean, this is the coolest freaking DVD case you're ever gonna see. What the hell did I just do with the DVD? Oh, there it is. But I freaking love it. And again, just Evil Dead, Book of the Dead. Again, everyone's seen Evil Dead, but you probably have not seen that case. So again, that's probably a more rare thing. Yes, I loved Anchor Bay, Geomon. You're right. Anchor Bay is where most of my horror films came from. Now I believe Blue Underground does them. But anyway, Book of the Dead. And then I have Evil Dead 2. And guess what? There's another one. This actually used to scream, but the battery's dead because this is probably 12, 15 years old. But this, it used to scream. You push the eye and it would scream, but it doesn't anymore. But that's Evil Dead 2. So Evil Dead 1 and 2, Necronomicon, Books of the Dead. Again, everyone's seen Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. And they're absolute classic. But you probably have never seen them in those things before. All right. Let's get into the Italian horror film. Let's get into some of these Italian horror films that perhaps none of you have seen before. Okay. Mario Bava is one of my favorite directors of all time. Again, these should be chronological. So, Black Sunday. It's about a vampire, or about a witch, rather. They kill her off, and she goes around haunting people. It's black and white. This was Mario Bava's first film, and it's so stylish for a black and white film. There's something very appealing about black and white films to me. Black Sunday is a great movie. Again, I don't know how many of you have seen Italian horror films, so these might be things you have never seen before. Mario Bava is a great director. Black Sunday is, something to check out. Blood and Black Lace, also Mario Bava. Also, you can see this is a freaking 2 DVD thing, and again, you can see how neat I keep my crap. But again, giallo means yellow in Italian, and they used to have these slasher comics back in the 50s and 60s. I don't remember if the book casing was yellow or there was just colored yellow. So these slasher comic books were colored yellow, thus giallo. These films took it. Giallo films always have a couple of elements. They have a masked killer and they have black gloves. That's really what it is. They always have a bottle of J&B. But again, this is a great movie. I mean, Blood and Black Lace is a fantastic slasher made in 1965. Mario Bava is one of the best directors of all time. And again, if you like a good slasher pick, this is a good slasher pick. And again, these are all giallo horror films, which is really just an Italian slasher. Italian slashers are much more brutal and violent than Americans because there's no censorship over there. But Blood and Black Lace is a good one. This is one of my favorite Bava films, Bay of Blood. I looked forever for Bay of Blood. It was not available on DVD, not Region 1 anyway. And, oh yeah, I collect a lot of stuff, good fella. Bay of Blood, if you ever watch Bay of Blood, this was made in 1972. I actually wanted the alternative title, Twitch of the Death Nerve. But if you actually ever watch Bay of Blood, you can see the absolute. This movie inspired Friday the 13th. There's a kill scene in here in 1972. They stole the kill scene for Friday the 13th Part 2. And if you watch both films, you'll see what killer scene I'm talking about. This, I know Willie McCovey passed away today, man. It sucks. But Bay of Blood is very Friday the 13th-esque. It really is, except for the differences. It's over. They fight over a bunch of land, but awesome freaking movie. Shock. This is a Mario Bava thing. This isn't really a good movie, but it was Mario Bava. It sounded interesting. The film failed, though. I didn't really like this. But again, this is Shock. It's probably something you have not seen before. By the way, if you're new to the channel, man, please like and subscribe to the channel. I don't usually do horror films, but again, this is in honor of Geomon's birthday being on Halloween, and I have so many freaking horror films. It's ridiculous. But made in 1977, and again, I don't really care for this movie that much. But if you want something to check out with possession films, what's up, Cooper? Check this out. All right, we're going to go with Lucio Fulci, the Godfather of Gore. The reason he's the Godfather of Gore is simply put, he has got some of the most disgusting, gory killings ever on the face of the earth. That's why he's the Godfather of Gore. Zombie. And also AKA Zombie 2 without the E, and Zombie 2. And I'll tell you why that is in a second when I get to it. This film has got, listen, there are zombies everywhere, okay? And you can see, again, I just keep everything freaking pristine. I'm like, zombie, if there was ever real zombies, you cannot make a better looking zombie than this. This was made in 1979, and the zombies in this film are phenomenal. Phenomenal looking zombies. Unbelievable. Like, they really look like they crawled out of the damn ground. They got worms in their eyes, worms in their mouth. The effects are amazing. There's 2 kill scenes in this film that are out of this freaking world. By the way, this is my 6th favorite horror film of all time. Lucio Fulci had a trademark scene where he always ripped somebody's eyeball out of their head, one way or the other. There's an eyeball rip scene in this film, which is phenomenal. And then there is a jugular kill by a zombie, which, I mean, I stood up and cheered because I'm like, oh, yeah, that was awesome. Incredibly violent kills, awesome looking zombies, and actually a really good film. It's one of the better zombie films. If you have not seen this one, I recommend this. Actually, when they did this in the movie theater back in '79, they handed out barf bags to people in the movie theater. It's also known as Zombie Flesh Eaters, Zombie 2. Zombie, you have to see it. The New York Ripper. Again, most of Lucio Fulci's films are with demons, death, zombies. This is about a serial killer that's killing prostitutes, pretty much. And again, the violence in which they're killed off with. I'll just tell you one scene. They take a broken bottle and he shoves it into the nether regions of a woman. Yeah, he kills her like that. He also, there's one where he guts her in a car. Again, there's the eyeball scene. Dude takes a straight blade and goes through a woman's nipple. If you like violent killings and nudity, you have to watch The New York Ripper. It really is freaking violent as hell. It's just amazing. It's an amazing film. City of the Living Dead. Again, this is just more possession stuff. And again, the killings in this are absolutely disgustingly gory. They're phenomenal. I don't really like the movie per se that much, but the film, the killings, again, he's not the Godfather of gore for nothing. The killings in this are freaking amazing. So, it's like I said, Lucio Fulci's a lot about dead guys coming back to life and violent killings, kind of in the same realm. I love Lucio Fulci, though. Dude's my man. The Beyond is probably my favorite Lucio Fulci film. Again, the killer scenes out of this world. This is a kind of confusing film. It's about a haunted hotel. But again, I mean, I'm just going to recommend you watch any Lucio Fulci film you can find because the dude is a Godfather. Like I said, it's a Godfather. The dude, everything is freaking nudity and death and hardcore death. So it's freaking awesome. House by the Cemetery, another Lucio Fulci film. Again, there's just a dead guy living in a freaking old creepy house. The kid in this movie is extremely annoying, but again, I'll open it up and you can see that it's all freaking pristine, as most of mine are. But again, just another violent freaking. House of Clocks is another Fulci film. Again, you can see how perfect it looks in there. Again, the violent killings. This isn't the best, but it's not bad. But I wouldn't recommend this as your first. If you're going to watch a Fulci film, like I said, the first three I showed: Zombie, New York Ripper, or The Beyond. Zombie, New York Ripper, The Beyond. Those are the three you want to watch from Fulci. Now we're going to go. Let's go while we're there. We're going to go. Wow, all of it. Yeah, this is all. My favorite horror film director of all time is Dario Argento. Okay, Dario Argento is known as the Italian Hitchcock. It could have been The Gates of Hell. I don't know the alternative titles for a lot of them, Cammy. I'm not really sure. Bird of the Crystal Plumage is Dario Argento's first giallo. Not the most violent. Great freaking story, though. And like I said, the best thing about the giallo horrors, they're murder mysteries, slasher picks with incredibly violent killings. This is actually a really good story. And I always love trying to figure out who the hell the killer is because you never freaking know. But The Bird with the Crystal Plumage, again, probably something you have not seen. But again, if you want a good slasher pick, Bird of the Crystal Plumage. His second film is Cat O' Nine Tails. It's about a blind puzzle maker and I think it's his niece or his granddaughter. They try to figure out the killer. Again, just a good slasher pick. But again, you probably never, oops, it's upside down. You've probably never seen Cat O' Nine Tails. And there it is again. Just, this again, just these are things like I'm saying. You probably have never seen these. I told you I have some pretty obscure crap in here. I'm almost positive, unless you're a really hardcore Argento fan or Italian horror movie fan, you've probably never seen Four Flies in Grey Velvet. Again, this is just a very little-known horror movie, and I really like this. His first three films are called his Animal Trilogy because it was bird, cat, flies. These were Giallo picks, not extremely gory. Soundtracks are done by Morricone, and soundtracks are good. But Dario Argento started to take a hard left turn and do things differently in his next film, which I'm about to show you. Deep Red, a.k.a. Profondo Rosso. Again, he started working with Goblin for the soundtrack. Amazing soundtrack. Gory-ass killings. Fantastic film. It's really started Dario Argento into his own phase. You could definitely see Mario Bava's influence. Dario Argento is known for his stylish killings and his absolute lavish color in his killings. Deep Red, this started him becoming famous, I believe. I mean, he was already famous, but this one pushed him over the edge. He became a really popular director. This is a really good freaking film. Again, most of his films are the same type of thing, but this one really goes to the next level. My fifth favorite horror film of all time is Suspiria. This is not like these other pictures. This is about an American dancer that goes abroad to study ballet in, I believe, London. It's in England somewhere. And the school is run by a coven of witches. And it's the soundtrack, the score to this movie, Suspiria by Goblin, is amazing. This is an awesome freaking film. I mean, it's just fantastic. The blood is paint red. It is bright red. He does that for a reason. But the killings are extremely violent. This is an awesome film. Like I said, it's my fifth favorite horror film of all time. I freaking love Suspiria. No, I don't get tired of standing, believe it or not, because I sit all day at work. Now, remember I showed you Zombie, and I said it was a.k.a. Zombie 2 by Lucio Fulci. The reason it's Zombie 2 is simply this. Dawn of the Dead was released over in Europe as Zombie. And it was kind of redone by Dario Argento. He just kind of added a different soundtrack to the movie. So instead of getting Dawn of the Dead, I got Zombie, which is Dawn of the Dead. But again, Dario Argento put his own spin on the soundtrack and everything. But because this was released as Zombie over there, Lucio Fulci did not want his film confused with this. So he named it Zombie 2. It's not a sequel to this, but that's why that's Zombie 2 and this is Zombie. I know it's confusing. But again, as you can see, the stuff is just, I keep it pristine. But, I mean, this is just a European version of Dawn of the Dead is what that is. Inferno, semi-sequel to Suspiria. This is a confusing movie. Again, they got the gory killings and everything else. But this is a decent movie. Not my favorite by Argento, but it's okay. My eighth favorite horror film of all time, Tenebrae. Tenebrae has one of the greatest kill scenes I've ever seen in my life. I'm not going to give it away. I don't want to give it away. John Saxon's in this movie. Pretty much there's an author that is in, I believe he's in Italy. And he's an American author. And he writes a graphic novel, slasher novel, and there's a killer out there doing copycat killings of his novel, and you got to figure it out. The kill scenes in this are awesome. And again, the soundtrack is phenomenal. Tenebrae is a fantastic film. I recommend you watch this one. This is great. I love this film. Like I said, it's my eighth favorite of all time. Do you see I like Dario Argento? These are all Dario Argento films. Phenomena came out in 1984. Starred a young Jennifer Connelly, who I had a massive crush on when I was younger, and Donald Pleasance. It's just as cheesy as hell. Jennifer Connelly, can control insects with her mind, and there was a killer running around her boarding school, and she's trying to figure out who the killer is. But whatever. I like it, but it's not a great movie, so don't get me wrong here. Dario Argento started to go downhill after Tenebrae. Opera, same thing. Kind of a fan of the opera type of thing, but not quite a fan of the opera thing. This is just a killer running around the opera and killing people. There is an amazing scene on a bullet goes through the freaking keyhole through someone's head. That's a good one. But again, as you can see, they're all freaking perfect. But Opera is a decent film. Trauma came out in 1993. Ignore it. This wasn't a good film, but it's Argento. I had to have it. The Stendhal Syndrome was worse than Trauma. Again, ignore this film. Not worth viewing. It's not good, but it was Dario Argento. Had to have it. There's something out of order here. There it is. Dario Argento's version of Phantom of the Opera. All nudity and violence. And I remember, look at how great the CD looks, right? He actually shoots his daughter, Asia Argento, is in a lot of these movies, and he actually shoots her naked in this movie. I'd be weirded out if I can't even imagine the way he does that. But again, don't bother with it. This is probably the worst movie he ever made. Don't bother with that. He got better with Sleepless. Max von Sydow from Exorcist is in this. It's a great mystery. He made this in 2000. Again, the killings are very gory. Yeah, it is his own daughter. It's crazy. But Sleepless, again, this is probably something you've never seen. And it's a really good giallo horror film. Another Argento film, The Card Player. Not one of his best. I wouldn't recommend this. If I'm going to recommend Dario Argento films, I'm going to tell you to watch Suspiria and Tenebrae and Deep Red. Those are the three you want to start with. And then those first three that I showed you, Bird with the Crystal Plumage is a fantastic movie, Cat o' Nine Tails, Four Flies and Grey Velvet. I wouldn't recommend this, but again, it's Argento. I had to have it. Do you like Hitchcock? Also an Argento film. This one was better. This one was done as kind of like Rear Window by Alfred Hitchcock. It's very similar, but again, the killings are good, and it's just a decent movie. Mother of Tears is the last one I own. This actually completed the Three Mothers trilogy. It took forever, but the Three Mothers trilogy is Suspiria. It is Inferno, and then it's Mother of Tears. There's two short films that Argento made that I have to add to my collection. I don't know if you guys remember Masters of Horror that Showtime showed, where some of the greatest horror directors of all time did their little 1 hour show. I got to get Jennifer and I got to get Peltz. Those were his two things. Also a John Carpenter. I have to get Cigarette Burns. That was one I have to get. I don't have those, but Mother of Tears. So those are probably movies you guys have not seen or heard of, I would imagine. I still got all of the. Oh my God, this is. I got so much crap. Where do I go? Okay, let's go with these. The Unseen. I don't know if you've ever seen this. Again, this is out of print. This is a rare film. It's a really good film. Barbara Bach is in it. That was Ringo Starr's wife. I don't even know why this is 2 DVDs, to be honest with you. I don't know if I've ever even watched a second DVD of this. But just again, these three girls, they shack up in a house. They can't find a hotel. This guy lets them in, and there's a killer in the basement. So, like if you like cheesy 80s horror movies, The Unseen. I don't know. That's what I'm saying, Playboy. I got a lot of weird freaking stuff. I've never really gotten into the Hammer film sports. Josh, I don't know. Again, I can't own everything. Like I got a lot of guys asking if I've seen these things, and I'm not trying to ignore you guys. I'm just trying to go through this. So I'll look back at it, and I will probably see a lot of things I haven't seen. But again, I can't own every horror film. I would love to, but they add up. They're pricey after a while. You guys like it? You've heard of oh, my thing broke in here. What the hell? If you guys like that's not good. If you guys like B horror movies, I want to show you a Z horror movie. Have you guys ever heard of Astro Zombies? One of the worst horror films I've ever watched in my life. Just so ridiculously stupid, but I like it good. Excuse me. I like a good Z horror film once in a while. I'm the only one that drinks Diet A&W in this house. So I don't think I'm drinking out of the bottle, and someone else is going to share this with me. All right. What else do I have over here? So, you know what is not in my collection, if you can believe it? I don't have Alien in my collection. I probably should get Alien. Don't have it. Yes, this is a Monsters University shirt, in case you guys were wondering. That's exactly what it is. Oh, dude, it's so bad. It's bad, Josh. You don't want to watch Astro Zombies. It is so stupid. It's ridiculous. Inseminoid is a British ripoff of Alien. Actually, the alien impregnates one of the people on Mars, and she gives birth to an alien baby. And this is probably a G horror movie. It's so stupid. But, oh, you know Inseminoid. But I like it. It's horrible, but I like it. This is a really good horror movie here that you guys have probably heard of. And again, I think they have released it on Blu-ray now. Hell Night with Linda Blair. Really good horror movie. I would recommend you watch this. If you haven't seen this, and you like just regular, your good old-fashioned 80s killer slasher picks, Hell Night's a good one to watch. Hell Night's a very good movie. This is another one. It's out of print. It's worth some money. Cheerleader Camp. Cheerleader Camp absolutely blows. Leif Garrett stars in it. What do you expect when you have a Leif Garrett film? But again, this is the type of crap I like. These horrible B, C, D, cheesy ass garbage 80s horror movies. But Cheerleader Camp, again, right in the realm of that type of thing. I've talked about this before. Shud. Classic horror film. Fantastic. Great. If you haven't seen Chud, I recommend you watch it. This is about as cheesy as it gets. The soundtrack is phenomenal. I mean, the soundtrack, the score is great. John Goodman makes his film debut in this one. Daniel Stern's in it. But again, you definitely got to check out Chud. If you haven't seen Chud, you have to watch this. Cannibalistic Human Underground Dwellers. You have got to watch Chud if you haven't seen it. This I have to wait. Somebody asked me what the worst horror film I've ever seen is. This film sucks so bad. So Saturday Nightmares used to run on USA Network. And there's a channel I really love. He's Commander USA fan. I think he's Commander USA fan 818. He also has SMR 818. He has old Commander USA shows, like full movies and commercials. And he's also started uploading Saturday Nightmares. So I always look for USA Saturday Nightmares on YouTube because I grew up with USA Saturday Nightmares and I freaking loved it. I found a promo years and years and years ago, probably 10 years ago. This film is just the intro to USA Saturday Nightmares. And it showed Forever Evil. This film is one of the absolute worst I have ever seen in my life. The effects are atrocious. The people are disgusting. This film, the director's cut is almost 2 hours long, and it makes no freaking sense. It drags on. It is horrible, and I love it. I don't know why. I would not recommend this. This film is absolutely horrible. And I love it. I can't explain it. It is so stupid. This guy right here, I don't even know what the hell he is, but I love this guy. He's hilarious. It's just, I don't know. Anyone ever seen that movie? Anyone ever seen this, Butte? Again, this is out of print, and I think these sell for like $40. But this is it's a horrible movie. So we're going to get away from movies for a second. I'll just do these. I'll just show these all at one time. When I was growing up, they used to have really good. We talked about this the other night. So Tales from the Dark Side, right? You guys remember Tales from the Dark Side? A lot of them are. There's a lot of them are forgettable, but the ones I always remember, the pilot, Trick or Treat, was really good. Inside the Closet scared the living shit out of me when I was a kid. Halloween Candy scared me really good, and Cuddy Black Sal. I always remember those 4 episodes, but I have all 90 episodes right there of Tales from the Dark Side. I have all 4 seasons. Because I absolutely love this show, good or bad. This is just nostalgia overload for me. I freaking love Tales from the Dark Side. I guess we'll go here. My Bloody Valentine. You guys all know that film. I don't really have to discuss this. Again, in the early 80s, the cheesy realm, My Bloody Valentine. They remade it. The remake is trash, as they all are, but the original is fantastic. Here's another one. This, again, is extremely rare, but it's not. This is the worst horror. Somebody asked, Forever Evil is one of them. This is the worst horror film I've ever seen in my life. Ever. And you can't even find this on Amazon. It's not even available. This is how rare this is. A Night to Dismember. Completely disjointed. Makes no sense. You got a narrator narrating over cut. This is the worst horror film I have ever seen in my life. You can't get worse than this. This is just, it is almost unwatchable. It is so bad. Why do you own a bad dog? Why don't you sell it? I don't know. I can't part with it. Makes no sense. These sell for upwards of, on Amazon, they were selling for 70, 80 bucks. And I don't want to get rid of it because I feel like I can't replace it. But this is the worst horror film I've ever seen in my life. It is that bad. It has Samantha Fox in it. I'm pretty sure she's a porn star. I don't know because I don't watch porn, but I'm pretty sure that's a porn star from the 70s. This was made in 1983. Just worst ever. I can't sell it, Geomon. That's what I'm saying. Worst horror film ever. This is the worst I've ever seen. This is that and Boarding House, which I did own Boarding House, and I actually sold it because I bought Boarding House for $4 and I sold it for $66. I couldn't turn it down. Boarding House looks like it was shot by a bunch of drunk guys with their own freaking handheld camera back in 1982. It is just a terrible movie. But so Night to Dismember. You want to see George Clooney's debut in a film? Watch Return to Horror High, a horrible freaking 80s horror film, but it does star George Clooney. This is his film debut. Well, Facts of Life, he was on that, but this is his film debut, if I'm not mistaken. But anyone seen Return to Horror High? This is another one that's kind of low budget. Nobody really knows what the hell it is, but I have it in my collection because why not? I'm kind of getting, actually, with those. We talked about Orphan the other night. This is one of the newer horror films that I watched. I actually liked. I thought this was a good story. I liked the twist at the end. But you guys have probably seen this. This is newer, so I'm not really going to go into Orphan. Another cheesy crapper from the early Bloody Birthday. Has anyone ever seen Bloody Birthday? 3 kids. Just do a lot of devious killing, and they're all mischievous, and they just all cause havoc. And freaking Bloody Birthday. Why not Bloody Birthday, right? So there's that. This one is actually not a. Oh, I didn't know I had to open it up like this. I don't know if there's not a freaking. So this is another USA classic, Bug. 1975 version, not the newer one. Again, this is another one that's out of print. It's very rare. It's a slow-moving horror film. It's actually pretty good, though. It's about these bugs that set fire to things. They can't really move. They're immobile. They just kind of get around. They get in people's tailpipes, and that's how they travel. And then the scientist starts doing experiments on them, everything else, and he makes them more powerful, and he gets them to mate, and they start flying at the end, and they start to destroy the world. But check out the back of it. They start to have a mind of their own. It's a good movie. Again, probably little seen. It's probably not seen by a lot of you guys. But if you want to check out some kind of insect film, check out Bug. Mentioned this one the other night. House. Richard Knoll, William Catt, George Wendt. Great freaking horror movie. Great horror movie. Like a good cheesy 80s horror movie, this is your guy. House. Not to be confused with the show House. Cameron's Closet. Late 80s. There's obviously a monster in his closet. Nobody knows but him. And I probably haven't watched this in God knows how long. But Cameron's Closet. There's just another cheesy 80s horror film. I mean, I can't really go into great detail because, again, I have not watched this in probably 12 years. So I really have forgotten a lot of it. But check it out because obviously I have it for a reason. I do remember some scenes in it, but it's pretty decent. Actually, no, I shouldn't say it's pretty decent. It's not really that good. Where am I going? I don't even know. These aren't really even in order. Psycho. I don't need to say nothing about Psycho. One of the greatest films ever made. Psycho. Let's Scare Jessica to Death. Again, this is another really good freaking movie from the 70s. This is an absolute classic. So, again, if you like a good 70s horror movie, check out Let's Scare Jessica to Death. I'm just trying to go these a little faster now. The Thing from Another World. This is made in 1951. And again, there's something very appealing about black and white horror films to me. This is an absolute classic. This was Howard Hawks. Just a great freaking horror movie. And this is a lot of fun. If you like I said, if you like older horror films with no gore and no guts and everything, but a good scare. Like I always felt like this probably scared the hell out of people back in 1951 when it was made. But this is a really good film. This again, this is more suspenseful than horror. This really isn't a horror movie, but I kind of put it in there. This movie is fantastic. It made in 1967. Wait Until Dark with Audrey Hepburn and Alan Arkin. If you haven't seen it, wait until again. This really isn't a horror movie. It's more of a suspense movie. If you have not seen this movie, watch it. This is an amazing film. This is a really, really freaking good film. It's about a doll full of heroin. Dude's trying to find it. Audrey Hepburn's a blind lady. They set up a whole scheme to get her to commit to it, and they're going to kill her off once they get it. And it's an awesome movie. It's a really good freaking movie, so check that out. I don't have American Psycho because I don't like movies about serial killers. There's one movie about a serial killer I like. I showed this one the other night, Stage Fright. I showed this for somebody the other night. Again, this is a little St. Italian horror movie. The killer wears an owl mask. It's a good movie. Stage Fright is a good movie. But again, not really into Asian horror movies. It's more Italian horror movies than anything else, and American. But and some Australian. So, Stage Fright. I don't know what the hell I have over here. Horrors of the Black Museum. This was made in 1959. Again, this is pretty damn good. If you like old school horror films from the 50s, definitely check out Horrors of the Black Museum. This is a solid horror film. This is The Children, the fantastic early 80s horror film. The Children. Have you ever seen The Children? The guy that did the score for, I think his name's Henry Manfredi, who did the score for Friday the 13th, did it for this. You can definitely tell this is a trauma film. It's about these kids that are a toxic spill makes them killers. They hug people and they burn them. I mean, it's just, it's cheesy as hell. But check out The Children if you haven't seen The Children. Here is, he's just getting better and better. I don't know if you've ever seen the fantastic Eaten Alive. A young Robert Englund is in this movie. A Janice Blythe from The Hills Have Eyes is in this movie. It's about a crazy-ass hotel owner that kills people with a scythe, however you say that word, I've never known. Scythe, whatever the hell it is. He kills him with that and feeds it to his alligator, his gigantic alligator in the front of the thing. Yeah, Eaten Alive. Tobe Hooper actually directed this. So if you like Tobe Hooper, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Poltergeist, The Funhouse, all that stuff, watch Eaten Alive. It's a good cheesy horror film from 1977. Just fantastic. Really good, crappy horror film right there. Going into the early 80s slasher picks again. Happy Birthday to Me. Again, your prototypical early 80s slasher pick. But again, this is probably something you've seen. This is not as rare as some of the other ones I've shown. But if you haven't seen this one, you like a good early 80s slasher pick, Happy Birthday to Me. Another one. These are all about the same type of film. He Knows You're Alone. Same thing. It's the same thing. Early 80s, 1980 this was made. This actually is Tom Hanks's film debut. Tom Hanks plays, he's got a small part in this movie. This is his film debut. And again, if you like early 80s slasher picks, I recommend He Knows You're Alone. And again, this is a very hard one to find. I don't think these are in print anymore, but this is a really good early 80s slasher film. As is the next one, The Prowler. Again, I mean, what can I say? The kill scenes in this are very good. And again, this is right up the alley of early 80s slasher pick. It's just fantastic. So, again, as you can see, there's some good stuff in there. But The Prowler is one, if like I said, if you like early 80s slashers, check that out. I don't know if you guys know about Herschell Gordon Lewis. Herschell Gordon Lewis was the first director to really put gory kills on film. They're, of course, made in the 1960s. The effects are not great. Me, I hate CGI effects, by the way. I cannot stand CGI. I hate it. Give me that Cairo syrup and food coloring and cheese dip and Twinkies and peanut butter, whatever else they used to do their kill scenes back in the 70s and 80s, because I love that. But I have a few Herschell Gordon Lewis movies. This was considered the first gore film ever. Blood Feast. It was made in 1963. This woman hires a guy to cook for her party, and he's feeding them human beings because he's. It sucks, but I have a few Herschell Gordon Lewis movies. So Blood Feast, not to be confused with 10,000 Maniacs, which actually kind of remade this one. 2,000 Maniacs is another Herschell Gordon Lewis film. If you haven't seen it, again, Herschell Gordon Lewis films are not good films, and they are gory films from the 60s. So check out 2,000 Maniacs. Another Herschell Gordon Lewis, Color Me Blood Red. It's pretty much all the same type of stuff. But if you want to see something you have never seen before, you should probably check out these films, because a lot of people probably don't know about Herschell Gordon Lewis, who's the innovator of gore. And then this was a trilogy, by the way. This was a Herschell Gordon Lewis trilogy. This one not in the trilogy, but A Taste of Blood is about a guy who's a family member of the Draculas, and he just starts going after innocent people and trying to drink their blood. But yeah, Taste of Blood. So again, I don't know if you've seen Taste of Blood, but there you go. It's my Herschell Gordon Lewis collection right there. Where is I'm missing? Where is it? Because there's a film. I got so much crap. Hold on one second. I'm going to go see if this. Oh, there it is. So, so I don't know if you've ever seen Anthropophagus. Some of the goriest killings ever on camera. Anthropophagus is about a dude. These people get caught. They get shipwrecked. They go into an abandoned mansion, and there is a man-eating guy that eats people in there. There is a scene in this film which is legendary. This dude here, as you see him on the front page, and again, this is another rare horror film, by the way. I don't know. Have any of you guys ever seen this film? AKA The Grim Reaper. Do not listen. If you ever want to buy this film, do not buy the title Grim Reaper. It's also known as Grim Reaper. That is heavily edited. Do not buy that version by Anthropophagus. Anyway, the scene is there's a pregnant woman, and this dude gets her in a cave, and he's hungry. So he rips the fetus out of her womb, and he eats the fetus. Yes. So that is the type of film you're dealing with Anthropophagus. The freaking soundtrack's amazing, though, by the way. It is freaking awesome. But Anthropophagus is required viewing if you want a good, violent, gory, cheesy-ass Italian horror movie. Bang. Anthropophagus. The reason I was looking for that is because Horrible is the sequel to Anthropophagus, and the title is apropos because this movie is absolutely horrible. But there are some fantastic death scenes in Horrible as well. And again, this is another extremely rare horror film that it might actually be on Amazon. I don't know. But again, these two, I don't know if you've seen these two or not. But again, if you want to just watch a really cheesy, gory ass freaking horror films, those are you guys. Anthropophagus and Horrible. Where do I go from here? Oh, so I'll just do this real quick. So The Walking Dead I own all of them. I own all the seasons of The Walking Dead. And obviously, when season 8 is released, I'll buy it on Black Friday because they're $10 on Black Friday, and normally these are $30. And I've never opened any of them. They're brand new. I've never opened them because I watched all the time, but I just figured I had to have them in my collection. But I've never opened these, so these are brand new, except for season 1 because I picked it up during season 2 and I had to go back and watch season 1. But besides season 1, they're all brand new. Just because, like I said, I don't have the need to. Let's go to some more Italian horror films. Nightmare City. So normally your zombies, this is an Italian zombie film, okay? Normally, this is directed by Umberto Lenzi, okay? Normally your zombies are slow, they're stupid, they just kind of walk like that. Not Lenzi zombies. Lenzi zombies are incredibly quick, axe-wielding, gun-slinging zombies that just fly. They use weapons, they move really fast, and they just kill people in the goriest ways possible, including biting some women's nipples off. Again, this is just a good old-fashioned Italian gore fest with zombies. If you want to watch something like that, Nightmare City is very good viewing. Again, these films are pretty similar to one another. Case of the Scorpion's Tail. I'll be surprised if anyone's ever seen Case of the Scorpion's Tail. Anyone ever seen Case of the Scorpion's Tail? I think this actually just got released again. This was actually out of print for a long time. But this is another, just a good old-fashioned Italian slasher pick. And again, it's a good storyline. Really good freaking movie there. Torso, it's out of the same realm. Torso is a good old-fashioned Italian slasher. Torso. This is actually a really good film. And again, they all have the same piece: the mass killer, the black gloves, and a bottle of J&B, nudity, and gore. That's why I love it. This is everything. Yes, I did do Chud. I went through Chud already. But this is a good film. What's up, Kevo? How you doing? So again, have you guys, I hope I'm showing you some new stuff because like I said, I'm not thinking many people have these type of films in their collection. Autopsy, it's the same type of thing. Again, Italian horror / Blue Underground does this one. Again, just good old-fashioned Italian slasher pick is what Autopsy is. This one is one of my favorites. This is extremely rare. This is out of print, and I think these sell on Amazon for like $75. Mondo Macabre does a great job with this. This film is about a killer, obviously. So he's hired by. I'm going to go over this for a little bit because this is actually a really good film. If you want to watch a good Italian slasher, this is a really good film. So this guy's hired by a dude to kill his wife. So he kills the wife, puts it in the trunk of his car, and as he's cleaning up, two teenagers, they're supposed to be teenagers, they look like they're in their 30s, steal his car. So they have the dead body in the trunk. So he has to chase them down and make sure that they don't know, that they're not going to trace the body to him. And he obviously goes on a killing spree and he kills him. This is actually, like I said, it's hard to find. And I think these sell for like $75 or whatever. You can probably get it on eBay cheaper, but I love this film. It is a really, really good Italian horror film. Who directed this? It's another Luigi Cozzi film. So you can definitely tell Dario Argento's influence on this. As a matter of fact, there's a scene in which he pays homage to Dario Argento. You'll see a lighter get handed over and it has the initials DA on it. The DA means nothing in the film. They even say that, but it is an homage to Dario Argento. This is a really good film if you can find it. It's just a good overall film. We talked about this one the other night. Demons. Good old, this again, incredibly freaking gory, great kill scenes. Demons is a fantastic film. If you like good old-fashioned gory zombie movies, you got one with Demons. Lamberto Bava, I believe, does this. It is Lamberto Bava, and then Dario Argento, I think he produced on it. This should be with my Argento films, even though Bava directed it, I put it with my Argento films. But Demons is a freaking, again, just a nice gore fest. Yeah. So the Embalmer, It's just a killer killing people under the tunnels of Venice, and just a really garbage. Look at the back. Look at the. It's just terrible, but again, it's just like in perfect condition because most of mine are. But again, the Embalmer. I'm sure that you guys probably have not seen this. I wouldn't recommend it. It's pretty stupid. But, you know, this cost me $1.99, so I bought it. Hell of the Living Dead. Again, a horrible zombie film, Italian zombie film. Very gory, the nudity, everything you want in a film is here. It's a terrible film. I highly recommend it. It sucks. I highly recommend you watch this one. It's just a good old-fashioned, cheesy, crappy, gory Italian zombie movie. Spasmo. This is actually a really good murder mystery. It's very confusing. I actually just got this not too long ago. I've always wanted to see it. And I haven't finished watching it, to be completely honest with you, because I fell asleep during it. But I will watch this at some point. But again, it's leading up to a good ending. You can see the tension building, and I have to watch this when I get time, and I'll probably have to watch it from the beginning. But Spasmo seems, I can't say it's a great movie, but it seems like it's going in the right direction. So Spasmo is probably something that, again, have you guys ever heard of freaking Spasmo? Who the hell has Spasmo in their collection? I remember Nightbreed. Alien Contamination. This is about freaking eggs that splatter slime on you and burn you to death. It's just a freaking horrible freaking movie with incredibly gory killings. Again, who the hell has Alien Contamination in their? It's also known as Contamination, which I think I have an edited version of this, and I really just want to buy Contamination. I probably will at some point, but again, cheese galore. Ian McCullough's in a lot of these horror films for the Italian horror films, and he's a pretty good actor. But this is just a fantastic, crappy garbage movie. I highly recommend that. It just gets better. Burial Grounds, The Nights of Terror. Does anyone have this? Burial Grounds, The Nights of Terror. Has anyone watched Burial Grounds, The Nights of Terror? All the zombies in this film look the same. Every one of them has the same cloak on. Every one of them has the same makeup. They're so stupid. It's just so dumb. But there is a really good scene at the end of it where there is this really weird thing between this kid and his mother. The kid actually looks like he's like 35 years old, by the way. But it's a kid and his mother, and he kind of has some incest thing going for his mom. And then he turns into a zombie at the end, and she goes to breastfeed him, and you can put two and two together and know how that turns out. Burial Ground, The Nights of Terror. Guys, I do have Lloyd Kaufman films. Like The Children is a trauma film. The Unseen is a trauma film. I don't know if I have them over there. Like I said, there's more over there. I'm halfway through this, and I have more over there. But I do. So I don't know if I'll get to it. Okay, I have Class of Nukem High. I have Toxic Avenger. What the hell was the other one? I have Slaughter. Is it Slaughter High? What the hell is the other one? Oh, thanks, Benny. Yeah, Chris is the man. Chris is the man. If you guys are new to the channel, again, please like and subscribe. Because I don't usually do these. This is in honor of Geomon's birthday tonight, being Halloween. Slaughter High. So I have Slaughter High. I also like Street Trash. I have some weird crap. I told you, I got very strange movies. So again, good old, horrible, cheesy, gory Italian zombie movie, Burial Ground, The Nights of Terror. Black Belly of the Tarantula. Anyone have Black Belly of the Tarantula? Just another good old-fashioned. I told you I have a lot of Italian horror movies, slashers, because the gore and the killings are fantastic. I love a good violent killing in a horror movie. They make you stand up and cheer. Like I told you, I'm a little screwed up here, so for whatever reason, I really enjoy that. That's why I found the Italian horror films, and I love them because they're incredibly violent killings. Very misogynistic, of course, and most horror films are. But again, Black Belly Tarantula is a good slasher pick. And then I forgot I even had this movie, Blade in the Dark. I've never watched this. It sounded good. I've never watched Blade. I can't even tell you.
I bought it because it sounded good, and I have not watched it. And it's directed by Lamberto Bava, and I love Lamberto Bava films. So someday I'll watch this. I have not yet. I cannot believe the amount of freaking movies I have. Holy Jesus. Nightmares. This is kind of a creep show thing where there's a bunch of different tales. The one that I remember the most, and I waited forever for this to come out on DVD because it was not available forever. Yes, Afghanistan. The Emilio Estevez one. The Bishop of Battle. Scared the hell out of me because I played video games. And a video game comes to life and kills him because he's so obsessed with the damn video game. And the soundtrack is freaking amazing. It's just a hardcore, like heavy metal, like punk rock soundtrack. That's the one story I really remember in this. But again, there's a lot of good ones in here. Again, this is kind of, out of the realm of creep show where there's a bunch of different things, or trilogy of terror. And if you haven't seen Nightmares, I would check this out. This is a good freaking little-known horror film from the early 80s. And again, the one I remember is Bishop of Battle with Emilio Estevez. Madman. Pretty much a ripoff of Friday the 13th, as most things were back then. Again, this is another one. I don't even know if this is available anymore. This has come and gone so many times. I finally picked it up. I had to get it on Blu-ray because it was all that was available. It's good. It's not great. It has some of the ugliest people I've ever seen in my life. I don't think there's any nudity in this either, which is very strange for an early 80s horror film. But it's not a terrible one. Like, if you want an 80s slasher pick out of the Friday the 13th school, you check out Madman. Crawl Space. I waited forever for this one to come out on DVD. Klaus Kinski. He's a very strange individual. This was made in 1986. He kills his tenants pretty much, and it's a pretty good 80s horror movie. Again, not fantastic, but hey, if you like a good early 80s or middle 80s slasher, pick a cheese fest. Crawl Space, man. Again, this is pretty good. He spies on his tenants and he goes in and he ends up killing them. But Crawl Space is pretty good. We talked about Curtains the other night. Good old-fashioned Canadian horror film. Again, this is one I just picked up a couple weeks ago. So, I've not watched this in forever. I forget what it's about. I probably have not watched it since the middle 80s. But, again, Curtains, from what I remember, is a damn good movie. And, I'll have to watch it. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I don't own that. I didn't like that movie. I see it now. I've seen that a couple times down there. I don't have Christmas Evil yet. I will have Christmas Evil eventually. But until then, we have New Year's Evil. And once again, a 1980 slasher pick. Cheese galore, garbage crap. Check this out. You'll love it. If you love those cheesy garbage-ass horror movies, you have to watch New Year's Evil because it sucks and it's great at the same time. I know. I told you, Clem, Jacob, I've got just a shit ton of horror movies. This one, I didn't even know this was out on DVD. I got extremely excited when I saw this the other day. And again, this was one I just bought because I've been waiting forever. It's an H.P. Lovecraft. I have to see if I have my H.P. Lovecraft stuff in there. The Unnameable. Anyone ever seen The Unnameable? Just a good old-fashioned horror movie. It's really what it is with an awesome freaking creature. These college kids just go check out a haunted mansion with a killer in there. And, if you like the cheesy B horror movie sports movie, then you're going to like a lot of the ones. You want to check out a lot of them, or Josh, you want to check out a lot of the ones that I showed tonight because they are really cheesy. This isn't so much cheesy. This is just a really rare horror film. And like I said, it's not fantastic, but it's not bad. This is something I would recommend if you've never seen The Unnameable. I'm sure 95% of you have not seen The Unnameable, but, check that out if you get a chance. Here's another classic caca la poo-poo, early 80s slasher out of every other realm. The Initiation. I mentioned the other day that I had this on order, and it came earlier than I thought it would, so I got The Initiation. I'm going to have to watch The Initiation because I probably have not seen this since 1986, 1987, and I forgot all about it until it was recommended to me, and I was like, oh, yeah, I got to check that out, man. So sometimes I forget because I've seen so many, and I'm like, I remember that. So I'll have to watch this again just to see, but again, this is just college kids playing a prank, and there's a slasher. It's just that's what it is. I have not seen The Collector. I can't say I've seen The Collector. I mentioned this too because this was also recommended to me. This is creepy as hell. Session 9 is an incredibly creepy ass horror movie. I've only seen this once. I will have to go back and watch it again because this is one of those ones that I know I missed something. This is an absolute psychological thriller. It gave me chills, which again, being in my 40s, it's rare that a horror film actually makes the hairs on my arms and the back of my neck stand up. This did that. This is a really good, I'm getting chills thinking about some of the scenes. I love this freaking movie. They were not lying when they said this is one of the most underrated horror films you'd ever watch. There's some people I watch reviews, they don't like it. They say it's not artistic. It's all this other crap. It's so obvious what's going on. I didn't know what the hell was going on the whole time. So again, I want to watch this again. But Session 9 is a fantastic horror movie. And if you like a good psychological, kind of haunted house type of thing, thriller, you want to watch Session 9. Pumpkinhead. Again, this is just a good old-fashioned demon. Guy's kid gets killed. He summons up Pumpkinhead to kill the idiot drunks on the bike that killed his kid. Really good horror film. This is really a good horror film. Not great, but a really good horror film. A lot of you guys have probably seen this. Thank you, Kevin. Or Kevo. I appreciate that, man. If you have not seen Pumpkinhead, check it out. I'm sure most of you have seen this, but I'm sure you guys. And again, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe, man. I don't usually do these type of things. I usually do a lot of sports stuff, but I appreciate everybody being here tonight. And like I said, I told you guys I have a shit ton of horror movies. If you guys didn't believe that I did, you probably will now because look, there's still 2 stacks over here. There's 4 stacks over there. So Pumpkinhead's a good movie. We've mentioned this in my streams before. Deadly Friend, a Wes Craven film. Christy Swanson's in it. Good old-fashioned 80s cheese. So her dad is abusive. He knocks her down the stairs. He kills her. And her next-door neighbor, who has a crush on her, brings her back to life as a robot. And she goes around and kills people, including Anne Ramsey, who's in The Goonies. She's always a bad woman and everything. She's in Throw Mama from the Train. Anne Ramsey, the older redheaded lady. She takes a basketball to the head and it blows her head up like Scanners. So that's the classic kill scene in this. A really cheesy, crappy 80s horror movie. I highly recommend this one. Now this one, this is my 9th favorite horror film of all time. I Love the Hills Have Eyes. This is gritty, grimy, low budget. This movie is freaking awesome. You've probably seen this. This is an absolute classic. I freaking love The Hills Have Eyes. I love Papa Jupe. He's my favorite. I always root for the bad guy because I told you I'm not right in the head. But as you can see, this is like this DVD. This is probably 15 years old, and I just, like I said, I just keep everything. You know what's scary? This guy looks like my uncle. He looks like one of my uncles. I swear to God, Michael Berryman looks like one of my uncles. I call him that all the time. I'm like, yo, Wayno, what's up? Are you in The Hills Have Eyes? He looks just like him. If you've never seen The Hills Have Eyes, the remakes sucked. I don't like remakes. I hate remakes. I can't stand remakes because I'm an old school guy. The remake was stupid. This is phenomenal. If you've never seen The Hills Have Eyes, I recommend it. Again, it's not extremely gory and it's not fast-paced. You have to enjoy it for what it is. It's a low-budget, grimy 70s horror film, but it is a fantastic horror film, and it's my 9th favorite of all time. Out of the Wes Craven school, we have Last House on the Left. Again, this is way ahead of its time, and it got a lot of criticism because of how gritty and grimy and just downright harrowing the film is. These drug users kidnap these 2 girls and they torture them pretty much, and then they take shelter or refuge at the girl's parents' house, and they figure it out, and then they have a battle. But this is a really gritty, grimy, harrowing film, and it's fantastic, and I recommend The Last House on the Left, the original, not the freaking remake, because we all know you got to remake every damn horror movie nowadays. The original from 1972. It also has Martin Kove in it. You know who Martin Kove is? He's John Kreese from Cobra Kai. So I saw that. I started laughing. Martin Cove is one of the deputies in the film, but that has nothing to do with it. I just think it's funny that he's in The Karate Kid and he's in Last House Left. But this is a really good movie if you haven't seen it. We've talked about this before as well. The Funhouse. Awesome movie. Not as popular as a lot of other Tobe Hooper films, but I love this film. I should show the back of them. It's Carnival of Freaks. These 4 kids, they are going to stay in the funhouse overnight. That's their bet. And then they come across a freaking killer, a bunch of freaks. This is a really freaking good horror film. If you have not seen the Funhouse, this is one that I recommend you watch. It's not really cheesy. This is actually a pretty good horror movie. It's not even really cheesy. I mean, it's got the typical 80s cheese and your cliches and everything else. But this is House of the. I do not like Rob Zombie stuff. Rob Zombie's a complete and utter hack. I hate Rob Zombie. I will never watch another Rob Zombie film as long as I live. He destroyed Halloween. I did not like House of a Thousand Corpses. I didn't like The Devil's Rejects. I think Rob Zombie freaking sucks as a director. He's trash. He's garbage. I can't stand him. That's really what I think of him. So that's the Funhouse. Check this out if you haven't seen it. And again, guys, I see the comments going fast and furious. I'm not trying to ignore you. I'm just trying to get through as many of these as I can. So please just bear with me. This is probably my 11th favorite horror film of all time. Absolute classic. One of the greatest horror films ever made. You see what it says? I don't need to say anything about this. Love. Just awesome. Okay. The freaking Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a damn classic. I've not seen the new Halloween horror film yet. If you haven't seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre yet, you're obviously not a horror film fan. That's all I'm going to say. Everybody's probably seen this. If you haven't, what are you waiting for? Love this film. Here's another early 80s slasher, another trauma film with Vanna White. I think Afghanistan and I talked about this before. Vanna White is in this, Graduation Day. Again, early 80s cheesy slasher pick, out of the realm of every other early 80s cheesy slasher pick. You have to watch it. If you like that type of thing, which obviously you can tell I like B slasher picks from the early 80s because I have a ton of them. Early 80s cheesy slasher picks and Italian giallo horror films are obviously my favorite in the genre. But I love this. It's a good film. You have to check that out. Graduation. Here we go. These are my H.P. Lovecraft films. One of the greatest scenes of all time is in The Reanimator. I'm sure you guys have seen Reanimator. Obviously, Jeffrey Combs is in it. He brings back dead things to life with some kind of special serum he makes. And there is a body walking around with a severed head who tells them all what to do. And so the severed head gives head to Barbara Crampton, who was phenomenal in the 80s, by the way. Phenomenal in the 80s. Barbara Crampton was phenomenal in the 80s. So she took her clothes off all the time. So, Josh, man, thank you. Thank you so much for that super chat, brother. He says, loving the stream, perfect for Halloween night. Thanks for recommendations. Everyone hit that like and sub up. I can't thank you guys for everything that you have done for me, man. You guys are so awesome. You've been so good to my channel, and you really helped get me out there. And I really appreciate everything you guys have done for me. So thank you so much for the super chat, brother, and everything else you do for me. And again, I mentioned it earlier today on your picks video. I look forward to working with you guys again. I really appreciate your words can't express how much I appreciate what you've done for my channel. You really helped me out, so I really appreciate it. But so yeah, a severed head gives head in this film, and it's fantastic. So yes, that's the whole thing. Darkly Lit. I get to see a new horror film every week when I watch the Giants. I took this week off though. We don't have a new horror film, so I have to show this collection. Another one out of the H.P. Lovecraft again. It stars Jeffrey Combs and it stars Barbara Crampton, who again gets naked, and there's nothing wrong with seeing a naked Barbara Crampton. But From Beyond was something that I saw on HBO back in 1987, and it was so gory. Like, you didn't see films like this back in 1986 when this was released. It's a really good film. Ken Foree from Dawn of the Dead is in it. And then, of course, he's got his cast characters. Jeffrey Combs is always in it. Barbara Crampton's in it. This guy's just doing experiments on a resonator, and you can see all these freaking weird things that screws with your mind. And this Dr. Pretorius just gets too involved, and he ends up being dead. Then he comes back in a bunch of different forms, and it's a really good, strange, gory, see from beyond. It's a good damn movie. If you like 80s stuff, I think you'd like this. It's a good movie. This one is probably again. Oh shoot! Hold on 1 second. I stacked them too high. They fell over. Oh, that's why. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Just Before Dawn. George Kennedy is in this, and they're just kind of hiking in the mountains, and they're trying to avoid a killer that kills them. But Just Before Dawn is a solid early 80s slasher pick, and I don't remember the woman's name. But look at this crap. Like I didn't even know. I forgot it was 2 DVDs. But I mean, again, I keep these things in absolute pristine condition. The main actress looks like Gwyneth Paltrow, and I do not remember what the hell her name was because I never heard of her before. But this is this is actually a really underrated slasher pick. And if you want to watch a good slasher from the early 80s, then I would suggest Just Before Dawn. This is actually a really good film. It's very good. So I would check out this if you have not seen Just Before Dawn. Here's another film from this century, which I think it was, again, this isn't a great movie. I actually really don't even like it that much. But again, it kind of gave me chills. The Grudge, otherwise known as Ju-on, is the Japanese version. But I got The Grudge with Sarah Michelle. I don't even like Sarah Michelle Gellar. I actually hate her. I'd like to smack her. But whatever. This film is decent. And again, it's pretty creepy. So, and now my movie's on Halloween just came on. So now I'm really happy. But The Grudge. You've probably all seen that. We've talked about this one before. Witchboard. Malvader, Tawny Katane, Ouija boards. Does it get any better than this? Made in 1986. Again, this is I think this is out on Blu-ray now. So a little Ouija board in there, so you can actually play if you want to. But this is a good cheesy 80s horror film. It really is. Again, it's not a good film, but if you like that cheesy 80s crap like I do, you'll love Witchboard. And it's actually not bad. I shouldn't say that. It's not good. But again, this is pretty cool. Yeah, the DVD is pretty awesome itself, man. I like this. So this is one this is an Australian horror film. And I don't think this is in my top 10. I'm trying to think of my top 10. It's not there, but it's very close. The Ugly. This is an Australian horror film. You hear it because it just came on, man. This is about a schizophrenic that's pretty much sees, he hears voices. He kills victims. And as he kills victims, they come back and tell him to kill more. And there's a psychologist or psychiatrist that tries to interview him and tries to figure out what he's thinking and understand him. And he really starts playing mind games with her, and she can't figure out if what he's telling her is the truth or if he's messing with her or whatever. It is a very smart, fantastic horror movie that a lot of people have not seen. And the only reason I found this is because of the Boogeyman compilation that was made in 2001. I would have never, ever heard of this film if not for that. And I love this movie. If I would, again, it's a psychological thriller. You have to pay attention to it because it kind of goes in different places. Watch this. Watch this is cheap. You can get this on Amazon for like $4. I mean, seriously, I don't know where else you can find this. I don't know if it's on YouTube and you can watch it for free. I don't know if it's on Netflix, but really, this is a cheap horror movie, and this is a good horror movie. It's a good psychological thriller. I love this. Dawn of the Mummy. Horrible, crappy, garbage, gory. Yeah, watch it. It sucks on many levels. It is so damn cheesy. It is. It's laughable. This is a good D horror movie. But what the hell? You want a good? Oh, it didn't stay in there. You want a good, gory, crappy horror movie? They're obviously in the tombs of Egypt, and they wake mummies up, and yeah. So they're shooting a film, I believe. I haven't seen this in a long time. I think they're shooting a film, and they just resurrect some mummies. Horrible. I just looked up like full moon, and I just used one of those images. Everyone's seen Jaws. I don't really need to go over Jaws. Jaws is absolute classic. So, you know, I don't need to go over it. I think we need a bigger boat. Jaws. Another one from, I believe this is this century. Not a bad horror movie, not a great one. I love Eliza Dushku. She was freaking hot. I used to love her. Wrong Turn. Pretty good. I can't say it's great, but this is definitely a pretty good horror film. I'm sure most of you have seen this, and I hate the newer. Look at what the newer ones look like. See the older ones, how they have all that design on them, and then they're just blank. But I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have seen Wrong Turn. Yes. This is one of my favorite crappy cheese. 1986 was a great year for a cheesy horror. Shopping Mall. Who is, and you know, I love the taglines where shopping can cost you an arm and a leg. The 80s films always had the great taglines. But this, killer robots in a mall. Chicks getting naked and getting killed. Typical 80s horror movie. If you haven't seen Shopping Mall, I recommend you watch Shopping Mall. This one is freaking awesome. Night of the Demons. Fantastic horror movie. Really good. Really scary. There was a scene in this that scared the hell out of me. This is an awesome freaking movie. If you've not seen Night of the Demons, you have to watch Night of the Demons. This is recommended viewing for horror fans if you have not seen this. It's actually kind of underrated and not probably as well known as it should be. But this is I don't have parts 2 and 3. I just have the first one. This is something that really you should check it out. I know I've heard the horror films about the Giants. We've talked about this on my live streams. Yeah. The ending is all I'm saying. If you've seen Sleepaway Camp, you know what I'm talking about. If you have not seen Sleepaway Camp, I'm not ruining it for you. All I'm going to say is I have seen many. I've probably seen I don't want to exaggerate, but upwards of 1,000 horror movies in my life, at least. I've never seen a more screwed up ending than I did in this one. This is the most ridiculous, messed up, just scared the living bejesus out of me. Just the ending is. Don't skip ahead to the ending. Make it suspenseful because it's a good slasher pick too. On top of it, and you're trying to figure out who the killer is, and once you find out who the killer is. The ending. That's all I'm saying about Sleepaway Camp. This is a classic. Everyone's seen this one. I really don't need to go over it. Prom Night. Prom Night's is a damn good movie. The remakes sucked ass, as they all do, but Prom Night's a good one. Somebody actually made this for me. I don't even know if I've ever watched Midnight Meat Train. Somebody burned it for me. I think I did watch this a long time ago. I really don't remember it. Somebody actually burned a DVD of Midnight Meat Train for me, so that's there. Day of the Triffids, British horror movie from the 60s about killer plants. Day of the Triffids. Anyone ever seen Day of the Triffids? It's actually pretty crappy, but not bad for 1962. But it is kind of like Little Shop of Horrors, but not quite. It's just, it's very different. We've talked about this one. Really good horror movie. Nazi zombies that go and kill people. Brooke, what's her name? Is it Brooke Adams? Yeah, Brooke Adams is in this. She was another cutie back in the day. I love the DVD for that. But yeah, it's Nazi zombies come out of the freaking river water, whatever the hell it is, and they, I think it's the river, and they just try to kill everybody that's shipwrecked on the island or in the house. But Shockwaves is a pretty good damn horror movie. It's Italian, of course, but is it Italian? Who the hell directed this? It's not Italian. For some reason, I was thinking this was Italian. It's not. But Shockwaves is a pretty good movie. I don't own the car, but the car is a good movie. This one is awesome. Again, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. I appreciate you all hanging out with me tonight. Kingdom of the Spiders. Anytime you got William Shatner, you got yourself a movie. It really don't matter. I saw this back in 1981 on WPIX in New York. Scared the shit out of me. The part where all the spiders end up with William Shatner scared me. I did not like tarantulas. I still do not like tarantulas. I don't ever want to see a damn tarantula. This is why I'll never live in the desert. Those things just creep me to hell. Not much creeps me out. Don't like tarantulas. Keep a damn tarantula, but they're just but cheesy. But I love it. I love Kingdom of Spiders. This is cheesy as to the nth degree. But cheesiness. The Exorcist is coming. April Fool's Day. This is another extremely rare horror film that's out of print. And again, it's just made in '86, and it's another cheesy slasher pick from the '80s. But this is a good horror movie. Again, it's got a twist at the end. Biff from Back to the Future's in this. This is the only guy I really remember. But check this out. Not bad. Play Misty for me. Clint Eastwood. He has a stalker. Again, this isn't really a horror movie. It's more of a suspense movie. But Play Misty for me is a pretty good movie if you haven't seen it. Kevo, I went through all the Friday the 13th. I keep seeing all these things on my stream. I keep looking over there. I see some movies. Trust me, we're getting to them. I'm trying to get to them. Like I said, I probably have another 80 freaking horror movies to go through. We talked about this the other night. One of the greatest endings I've ever seen in my life to a film is Saw. I don't have any of the sequels. The hell with the sequels, because I already know the endings to this, and it ruins it. I don't need a sequel. I don't need to see Saw 19. I don't care. The ending of this, I think I told you guys, made me stand up and cheer. I didn't really cheer, but I like jumped out of my seat and I was just like, oh my, yeah! I'm sitting there going, oh, I know the killer. Oh, I know who's doing it. Oh, I know what's going on. And the ending of this movie hit. I said, yes, they fooled me. I would have never pictured that. Never. I would have never guessed it. I love the ending. The twist. Best ending of any horror movie I've ever seen. Sleepaway Camp's the most messed up ending I've ever seen. This is the best ending. I love Saw. Saw is a great movie. I'm sure you've all seen Saw. This is another extremely rare horror movie. I get this from Best Buy. I have a Best Buy receipt in here. I don't like this. We've talked about this before. Dead Alive. Dead Alive is an Australian horror film. This is made by Peter Jackson of Lord of the Rings fame. Before he made Lord of the Rings, he made Bad Taste, which I have to get in my collection. I don't have Bad Taste yet. I will have it eventually. And Dead Alive. Dead Alive is one of the goriest freaking zombie films ever made. And it is so damn cheesy. It is kind of Evil Dead-ish. It's goofy. It's goofy. It's kind of corny. Lionel, who is the main character of this film, takes his mom to the zoo. And she gets bit by the Sumatran rat monkey, which turns her into a zombie. So these people she squirts her blood in a guy's custard, and he eats it, and he turns into a zombie. And all these people start turning into zombies. Some of the greatest freaking death scenes ever are in this movie. The best scene is when Lionel takes his damn lawnmower to all the zombies, and he just walks into the house, and he says to himself, he gets in there, and he says, "Party's over." I love it. And there's also a kill scene where a girl, I don't want to give this away. You have to watch Dead Alive. It's also known as Brain Dead, Don't Get Brain Dead. Brain Dead is edited. Getting Dead Alive. I'm going to tell you this one anyway, because I love this. There's a chick, and it didn't scare me, but it surprised me. She's sitting behind a door, like there's a door behind her, and she's screaming. She's like, ah. All of a sudden, bang, a fist goes through the door to the back of her head through her mouth. Freaking awesome. Great kill scenes and gory ass kill scenes in this film. You have to, it's corny as hell, but you gotta watch Dead. You have got to watch Dead Alive. This again is required viewing, I think. This is another little known film. Dark Knight of the Scarecrow is pretty screwed up. Again, this is something I saw on WPIX years and years and years ago. I mean, we're talking 35 years ago. I think I've watched this once. I really do not remember much about it. I just know it scared me pretty good when I was young. So I can't really discuss it much, to be honest with you. So I really can't tell you because it's been a long time, but I've heard there's really good reviews about this. But Dark Knight of the Scarecrow is something that you probably haven't seen. But it's a good, from what I remember, this was a good movie. I have Dark Shadows. I never even opened this. I don't know where this came from. The show Dark Shadows, and I have that. It's not open. Okay. Yes. Remember this Butte? Basket Case, 1982. Oh, God. What a cheesy, just horribly, the effects are so bad in this movie, but it's such a screwed up movie. I don't even know what to say about Basket Case. It's made by Something Weird Video, and it is something weird, but you have to watch it. All I can say is it's this guy's Siamese brother. They cut him off. He keeps him in a basket and he feeds him people. You have to watch Basket Case. It's pretty funny. No, it's not just a Beaver's life story. Black Christmas. My third favorite horror film of all time. This film is absolutely phenomenal. I'm not going to give it away if you haven't seen this. A lot of people probably have seen this. A lot of people probably have not. Yes. On the phone, Afghanistan, yes. A lot of people have probably seen this. A lot of people probably haven't. You never know who the killer is. There is a cliche in this that was used many, many, many times after the fact. I'm not going to give it away because it gives away the entire movie, and I'm not doing that in case you haven't seen it. You have got to watch Black Christmas. If you like a good, like I said, a good, scary, eerie horror film. There's no gore. There's no nudity. It was made in 1974. It's Canadian. Margot Kidder of Superman fame is in it, and she's great. Her character is great in this movie. There's two movies I watch every Christmas, like clockwork. Black Christmas and A Christmas Story. And the funny thing about both of them is they're both directed by Bob Clark. Go figure that out. They're both directed by Bob Clark. A Christmas Story and Black. If you've never seen Black Christmas, if there's one movie that you see that you have not seen that I suggest, watch this. This is a good movie. Again, if you just want TNA and gore, don't watch it. If you want a really good horror movie that's suspenseful and really keeps you guessing, and John Saxon's in this too, by the way. John Saxon's the man. Olivia Hussey's in it. So there's some well-known actors in this. Love this freaking movie. Love it. Love this movie. I went through Children of the Corn already there. I don't know why this is not with the rest of them, but I have The Exorcist, the beginning. I really like, it's funny. I really liked this when I saw it in the movie theater, and then the more I watched it, I really didn't like it as much, but I bought it anyway because when I saw it, I was like, this is pretty damn good. So, Candyman. I'm sure you've all seen Candyman. Anyone ever actually went into their mirror and said Candyman 5 times? I'm just curious if anyone ever did that with the Candyman. But seventh favorite horror film of all time, Hellraiser. Greatest demon ever. Coolest looking freaking demons of all time, the Cenobites. This actually is Hellraiser 1 and 2. I have Hellraiser 1 and 2 in here. So there's Hellraiser 2 and Hellraiser. Well, it wasn't straight, but Hellraiser's phenomenal. Again, if you haven't seen Hellraiser, you're not a horror fan. But I freaking love. Hellraiser is freaking awesome. And Hellraiser 2 is a damn good sequel. But this is just amazing. Just it's awesome. It's so different than it's very creative and unique. And it's a really, really good story. And again, the music is fantastic and the effects are really good. Gotta watch Hellraiser if you haven't seen it. The Burning. Total ripoff of Friday the 13th. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure if Tom Savini did the effects for this or not. The best scene about The Burning, yes, Cropsy. Best scene about The Burning is the raft scene. I'm not giving it away. This is right out of the realm of Friday the 13th. They're very similar. But watch The Burning. If you like Friday the 13th, you'll like this. It's a gorier version of Friday the 13th. It really is. I love it. The Burning is a fantastic slasher from 1981. You got to check out The Burning if you have not seen it. We've talked about this before. As you can see, I got this on sale back in the day. You see how much it was? $26.99 for $8. I said I'm buying a damn Omen. Okay, everyone knows about The Omen. Damien, The Omen, great movie. Gregory Peck, Lee Remick. It's a classic. The Omen is a classic movie. Here's one that is pretty underrated. The Boogans. I don't know if any of you have seen The Boogans. There's these little creatures in a cave that come out, kill people. It's really all it is. It's just, again, it's not a bad movie. This is actually not a bad film. It's cheesy and it's cliche, but it's not bad. And this is something you probably haven't seen, or a lot of you probably haven't seen. I mean, again, I didn't really know this existed. I don't even remember how the hell I found it, but it's a pretty damn good movie. It's not great, but it's not bad. To drive, okay, so to drive it. So you're like me. I saw Halloween, or I saw Jaws 3 and Rambo back in '82. I remember seeing that at the drive-in. Second favorite horror film of all time. You guys are waiting for that. It scared the, probably the scariest movie I ever watched. It messed me up pretty good. I saw this when I was 8 years old. That was my first mistake. Good God Almighty. I don't know anyone that's watched this say this does not scare the hell out of them at some point or another. I mean, this is just, I don't even know what to say. It's just classic in every freaking sense of the word. This is one of the most legendary horror films ever made. Everybody knows this. This is not something that's like, I've never seen The Exorcist before. People passed out in the theater watching this. Just freaking awesome movie. DVD, that's coming, by the way. I see that movie that you just suggested. And then, I don't have The Exorcist 2. I'm going to buy it. It sucks. I just have to have it. The Exorcist 3 is one of the greatest sequels of all freaking time. This film is creepy as hell. It's scary. It's awesome. If you have not seen to hell with The Exorcist 2. Don't watch The Exorcist 2. No, it's terrible. It's god-awful. Don't watch it. But watch this. If you've never seen The Exorcist 3 because you watched The Exorcist 2 and said The Exorcist 3 has to suck, wrong. This is more like the sequel to The Exorcist. This is so freaking awesome. Fantastic, fantastic horror movie right there. Everything in the 50s, because of the atom bomb, everybody thought radiation was going to make everything huge. So we had like the killer shrews. We had the giant Gila monster. Everything grew to epic proportions. This is about killer ants that are enormous and just eat people. Again, this is extremely rare, which I did not know. I don't think they make this anymore. So I'm glad I got it when I did, because it was hard to find it anyway. And again, let's check out the. But it is. I mean, this is a good B science fiction 50s movie. It's very well done. Them is a very good movie. All right, that's everything on the table. I'm gonna go grab a couple more piles, and we'll Okay, I'll be right back. Hold on a second. I told you guys I had a lot of horror movies. I don't need to say nothing about it. There is no other Dracula except for Bela Lugosi. Bela Lugosi is Dracula. I mean, is there a better vampire ever? Never been a better vampire movie than the original Dracula. The 1931's Dracula is phenomenal. Jesus doesn't approve of it. No, what can you do? It's not a sin to watch horror movies. But this is awesome. I mean, everybody knows Dracula. Again, this is something somebody burned for me. I've never even opened it. The Haunting in Connecticut. I've never even watched this, but it's in my collection for whatever reason. Gremlins. Saw this back in the theater in 1984. The one thing that I can say about this is the whole reason the PG-13 was made as a rating, because this was too soft for a rated R, but a lot of people complained that it was not a PG film. Like, this was not for kids because it was a little over the edge. Phoebe Cates is in it. That chick was phenomenal back in the 80s. But Gremlins is an absolute classic. Everybody knows about Gremlins. I always laugh about Gremlins. Don't feed them after midnight. So you can never feed them, because every second of the day is after midnight. Correct? Every second of the day is after midnight. Midnight starts the day, so you can never feed these things. Because I always laugh when he looks and he says it's not midnight yet. Well, it's after midnight when it's 11:40. It's always been every second's after midnight. So you can never feed the damn things. But whatever, they multiply with water. Can't feed them after midnight. They turn into Gremlins, and Gizmo turns into Spike. And Gizmo doesn't turn into Spike, but you know what I'm saying. The Mogwai turns into Spike, and they wreak havoc. And it's a classic horror film. It's a very good horror film. You guys have mentioned The Howling. There's The Howling. Great vampire movie. Really good. This is a really good vampire movie from the early 80s. I think Dee Wallace is in this, if I'm not mistaken. But The Howling is a really, really, really good horror film from the early 80s. Did I say vampire? I'm sorry. I meant werewolf. I'm sorry. Werewolf. These are not horror movies, but you guys know my interest in serial killers. There's a biography on Ted Bundy. I would say that guy was a living horror movie. But this is a biography on Ted Bundy, and a film on Ted Bundy, and it's the only good film on Ted Bundy ever made. And honestly, this is actually just a really good film. If you ever freaking want to know about Ted Bundy, or you whatever, or just want to watch a good film about a serial killer based on real life, Mark Harmon does a great job in The Deliberate Stranger. This is by far. Don't watch any other Ted Bundy movies. Don't ever. This is the only Ted Bundy movie worth watching. It was a made-for-TV movie. It's 3 hours long. And I was still left wanting more, because I'm just very intrigued by Ted Bundy. I've pretty much seen every freaking biography on him. I've read almost every book on him. Don't think I'm freaking nuts. Why am I so interested in Ted Bundy? I don't know. I just am. But this is a really, really good movie anyway. So check it out. I have not seen that, Rick. Nightmare in a Damaged Brain. Again, just a nice psychological 80s. Look at the artwork on the freaking DVD. Again, little known. I don't have that series. Little known horror movie, but a pretty damn good one. So if you want a good psychological thriller, check out Nightmare. Intruder. Intruder was something that I saw way back when. Bruce Campbell's in it. Sam Raimi directed it. So Intruder is something I remember watching at my cousin's house, probably back in late 80s. I think this came out in 88 or 89. So it was out on VHS. We used to watch everything on VHS at our local video store. So I remember a guy talking about, here comes Effin Parker, hamburger in one hand, head in the other. And I'm like, what the hell movie is that? About a guy. I'm waiting for the, okay. I'm gonna wait for the cracks. I want to see the cracks in the chat room. This horror film takes place in a supermarket. It takes place in a supermarket. There's a killer wandering around a supermarket, killing off the employees. So it's actually a really good film, to be honest with you. But you can see the artwork on that one too. Pretty cool. But this is a good horror movie. Check out Intruder if you haven't seen it. It's not great. It's not bad. Again, it's just a regular 80s cheesy crapper. And again, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. And I appreciate you all hanging out with me tonight and checking out my horror film collection, which I've been going on for about over 2 hours now, and I'm still not close to being done with this thing. Can you believe this crap? I probably still have 40 movies over there. Pieces. This is just a gore fest. This was out of print for a really long time. I never saw this. I never heard of it. I never saw it. It was on Amazon for $1.99 about 15 years ago. I said, for $1.99, I'm not going to bother renting it. I'm just going to buy it. And it went out of print for a while, but I think it's back. It's just a horror. Listen, at the beginning of the freaking film, there's a dude putting together a naked body of severed parts together as a puzzle. Actually, maybe he's not doing that, but he does end up doing it eventually. Extremely freaking gory. So it's horrible, but it's gory. So if you like a good gory killing, check out Pieces. This is one of my favorite early 80s slasher picks out of the cheesy realm. And I'm mad there's no book. Slumber Party Massacre. Just cheesy 80s slasher, typical cliched, everything about it. But it's very good. It's a very good horror movie, and it's a lot of fun. So if you like those, like I said, this is another one you want to check out. I've never watched this. This was 99 cents at FYE, The Howling 3. I've never watched it, but for $1, I was going to buy it. The hell with it. I don't have The Howling 2. I didn't even know they made a Howling 3. Wishmaster 1 and 2. The first Wishmaster was actually not bad. The second one was really stupid. But Andrew Divoff, who is in Andrew Divoff is in a few movies. But Wishmaster is not bad. Like I said, Wishmaster 2 is stupid, but Wishmaster not bad. And again, I get the blank DVD. I hate that crap. But yeah, this is pretty. The original Wishmaster is pretty good. The second one's not bad. Everyone is asking about a Serbian film. I've never seen that movie. I'm gonna have to watch it because everyone keeps mentioning it. So I've not seen that. The Sentinel. This is another really good movie, kind of about like a ghost of like a haunted apartment, made in 1977. It's very creepy. This film. It's very creepy. And it's really cool. So this isn't a great film again, but it's certainly not a bad film if you haven't seen The Sentinel. Might be something you want to check out if you like that type of film. Motel Hell. This also came with Deranged. I don't care about Deranged, but I wanted Motel Hell. Motel Hell is it's an absolute classic. Yeah, these country bumpkin owners of the hotel. It's actually Motel Hello, but the O is burnt out, so it says Motel Hell. They feed their guests these special sausages that they grow in the yard, and obviously the sausages are people. But again, another cheesy 80s thing that I saw on USA Network way back in the day. And Motel Hell, man, check it out, because that's another. It's a cult classic. We'll call it that. There's a lot of cult classics I have in this collection, as you can see. One of the very few remakes that I like, very few, because I don't like remakes, I told you, Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald Sutherland and Brooke Adams and Jeff Goldblum. Amazing. This is better. This is better than the original, I think. And I don't ever say that about anything, but the 1978 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers is fantastic. This is a really, really, really good movie. And again, I would check this out if you had a chance, but Invasion of the Body Snatchers is awesome. The Driller Killer, one of the original video nasties. The funny thing about it is this movie is actually very tame when it comes to the kill scenes. There's only one part where the dude really takes a drill to somebody's head. But the Driller Killer And then I got all these early short films of Abel Ferrara in here. Again, I don't think this costs too much, but it's not. I mean, again, not a very good film. I got this because it's a video nasty, and I'm like, what's all the hype about? I gotta see the trailer killer. Oh my god, they're making all this big. It's not that great, to be honest with you. It's very dark. It's hard to see a lot of the film. This is not really a good movie, but he gets really mad. There's like a punk rock group below him, and he can't sleep, and he's living with these two chicks, and he's poor and all this other crap, and he just finally gets fed up, and he sees a commercial for a drill, and he goes and he drills people. Not good, but this is an absolute cult classic, The Driller Killer. Dead and Buried. This is another absolute freaking another classic. But again, I told you I pretty much keep my stuff as new as possible. This is actually not a bad film. From what I remember, I don't remember a lot about this, to be completely honest with you. I've seen this once. I saw it on USA. Almost every one of these horror movies I saw on USA Network at one point or another. But from what I remember, it was a good movie. It's extremely, again, this is another rare movie that a lot of people probably have not seen. So I think I just added it to my horror movie collection because, again, I'm afraid they're going to, if I think a movie's going to go out of print, I usually will add it to my horror movie collection just because I don't want to have to pay the out of print price for these things. Well, you can see I found another one on sale back in the day. Child's Play. We all know Child's Play. Do I need to go over Child's Play? Child's Play, Chucky. The original House of Wax with Vincent Price. A phenomenal movie. Again, the ending of this one, I really like the twist at the end of the original House of Wax. And Vincent Price is a damn legend. I mean, who the hell doesn't love Vincent Price? So I talked about the Saw franchise earlier, JD. I only like the first one. I don't like the sequels. I don't care about the sequels. The first one made me stand up and cheer because of the twist ending. But the House of Wax is again, very good. Very good. Somebody mentioned this. This was my favorite horror movie for a long time. I absolutely freaking love The Hitcher. And this is another one. I told you about Black Christmas. Actually, this isn't in my top 10 anymore. This is more of a suspense. If you've never seen The Hitcher, watch it. That's all I'm going to say. This is a really, really, really good film. It is very suspenseful. Young C. Thomas Howell and Rutger Hauer is amazing as the psychopathic hitchhiker in this movie. This is a really good film. I think this is an HBO original. And it's just awesome. This is a fantastic movie. This is a supernatural horror film. The Haunting is from 1963, and there's just something very appealing about black and white horror films to me. I don't know what it is. I really love the black and white horror films. They're very classic. They have a great look, great scenes. You don't ever see the entity in this one. It's a psychological thriller, but it is an absolute classic, The Haunting. And not the freaking remake, but the original 1963 Haunting. Well, let me see what else I have over here. I'll be right back. Even though you're not supposed to say it, be right back. What the hell is my John Carpenter? You know, somewhere in here, oh, there they are. I was looking for this one. So the Ray Bradbury Theater was another thing that I really liked as a kid. It usually came on after Tales from the Dark Side. The short Gotcha. Watch it on YouTube. You can find Gotcha on YouTube. Just type in Ray Bradbury Theater and type in Gotcha. It scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. Probably wouldn't scare you now. You're adults. But I have the complete Ray Bradbury Theater series on DVD as well. A lot of this was lesser known. I mean, if you're my age, you might have watched this. This is what I was looking for. So here's the John Carpenter films I have. The Fog is my 9th favorite horror film of all time. Maybe I said that. I don't remember. But this should be 9th. I absolutely freaking love the original Fog. It is fantastic. It is a great ghost story. Jamie Lee Curtis, Janet Leigh, Tom Atkins, who I love. The dude is one of the best things ever. I really like it. The soundtrack is phenomenal. He does a really good job with this movie. It's eerie, it's creepy, it's fantastic. Thank you so much for that entertainer, man. I really appreciate that, buddy. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. It means a lot to me. So thank you very much. Much appreciated. All right, Jedi, take it easy. And I appreciate all you guys hanging out with me tonight. I really do on Halloween. Fourth favorite horror film of all time, The Thing. The effects in this movie are so far ahead of their time. It is absolutely ridiculous. I believe Rob Bottin did the effects for this. If I'm not mistaken, he's the one that did the effects on Werewolf in London, American Werewolf in London. You know, it's funny. For years, I would go in my video store, right? And I would see this cover. And I would say, God, that looks stupid. For years, I walked right past it. Then I watched Terror in the Isles, which is something I have to buy. Terror in the Isles is like the Boogeyman compilation. It's just from the late 70s and early 80s. And they showed scenes from The Thing. But I didn't know what movie it was. One day, I picked this up and I look at the back of it and I see Kurt Russell like that. And I said, that's the movie. I freaking love this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, see it. This is absolutely a phenomenal. I freaking love The Thing. I love it. Love it. They Live. Roddy Piper. And I always get it confused because there's a David Keith. This is Keith David. David Keith is in Firestarter, and he's in An Officer and a Gentleman. Keith David is also in The Thing. They have one of the legendary fight scenes of all time. The funny thing about They Live is that I didn't realize all the politics involved in this film. And I didn't realize how much politics in this film are absolutely true today. I didn't realize the message behind it. When I'm a kid, I'm just like, ooh, aliens. Ooh, Roddy Piper. That's the man. Like, I was 11 when this came out, or 12 when this came out. So Roddy Piper and aliens, I'm all in on that film. I love this film. I memorized this film. I pretty much memorized it word for word. I watched it so much when I was a kid. I love when he tells a woman, you look like your head fell in the cheese dip back in 1987. You're okay. This one, real effing ugly. It's just, it's a great movie, but there is a deeper meaning to it, which I didn't understand when I was 12, but now being 42, as this is a 30-year anniversary of They Live, I really see the meaning in the film. And then John Carpenter's Village of the Damned. I like the original Village of the Damned better, but this came in the John Carpenter collection. So actually Prince of Darkness came in. I have no idea where Prince of Darkness is. I just put the thing in there because it's a John Carpenter thing. But so those are my John Carpenter, obviously besides the Halloween and everything else. I went over those. Scream. Again, the original Scream was good because the twist ending had me guessing. Like, I would have never picked, I would have never figured out how the ending went in this. But then they make a bunch of sequels, and I'm like, I know how it ends. I don't need to know. I already know the twist. That ruins it for me. But Scream, the original Scream is actually a very clever movie, and they make a lot of references to old horror movies and everything else, the horror cliches. Like I just said, when I said I'll be right back, you don't ever say I'll be right back because you're not coming back. But Scream's a pretty good horror movie. You guys wanted my trauma films? Class of Nukem High. There's Class of Nukem High. These trauma films that you were about to see, if Geomon, you'll remember this. I won these in a bet with Boognish. All the trauma films you're about to see, I won from Boognish in a bet back in 2009. So, Class of Nukem High. I said Slaughter High. It's Class of Nukem High is what I was talking about. You guys asked for the Toxic Avenger. There's a Toxic Avenger. Redneck Zombies. Redneck Zombies. And a note from Boognish. So you can see I don't really mess with anything, but there you go. I'll read what this says. This is from This is from Boognish, back from '09. So you TTC guys remember this, okay? It says cheap insert. Bad dog. Enjoy this classic trauma film and all its 80s cheese. Terrible acting, no production value of any kind. Basically, what independent filmmaking is all about. I think the Redskins' fun bunch of DC sports nut are in this film. So, how legendary that is just because of the letter in there from Boognish? That's, JD, you remember Boognish? Poltergeist is a classic. I mean, everybody knows what Poltergeist is. Again, this is just it's a really creative, very well done film. I'm sure everybody has seen Poltergeist. Somebody asked me about The Strangers. There it is. Not my favorite, but definitely not bad. It was good enough to put in my collection, so it wasn't a horrible film, but not a great one either. But I bought it anyway. This is more psycho. This is not really a horror film either, but Straw Dogs is in this collection for whatever reason, but not the remake, the one with Dustin Hoffman. Straw Dogs is actually a very good film. But I put it in here anyway. I mean, it's kind of a horror movie, but yeah. Jeepers Creepers. I saw this in the movie theater back in 2001. Not bad. I forgot the girl's name. I think it's Gina Long. Wow. I freaking loved her. This is pretty creative. The first one was a very good horror movie. Second one was stupid. I don't know the second one. But the original Jeepers Creepers is a good horror movie. Yes, where'd you get those eyes? Silent Night, Bloody Night, not to be confused with Silent Night, Deadly Night. Just cheesy 70s garbage right here. But yes, I've seen the car before. I don't own the car, but I've seen the car. But Silent Night, Bloody Night. The Tourist Trap. Very underrated. I think it's underrated. More of a cult classic type of thing. Chuck Connors, the rifleman, stars in this movie. This is another one I won from Boognish in our bet. But The Tourist Trap, again, it's underrated. I mean, seriously, this is not a bad horror film. If you haven't seen The Tourist Trap, I would suggest you check this out. This is not a bad movie at all. There's another one I won from Boognish. Street Trash. Gory, gritty, gutty, crappy, horrible film. But it's just oozing guts and slime and everything else. So I don't know if any of you have seen Street Trash, but yes, it is a funny horror film, and it's again, it's something you don't see very often around. So Day of the Dead. Obviously, it's in the trilogy with Dawn of the Dead, which you saw. I have Zombie instead of Dawn of the Dead, which is the European version of Dawn of the Dead. Day of the Dead, though, another fantastic George Romero. It's just George Romero's trilogy of the Dead is phenomenal. So Day of the Dead is a very good horror film. When a Stranger Calls. The first 15 minutes of this film are some of the most suspenseful 15 minutes you'll ever find in any film. Really, 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 really well done the first 15 minutes. And unfortunately, it climaxes way too early. And then where the hell do you go? That's what it struggles from. But the first 15 to 20 minutes of this movie are amazing. It really are. The movie's worth just the first 20 minutes. My cousin Vinny is doing all right. He's doing good. What up, Mick? How you doing? But When a Stranger Calls. Guys have talked about this one. This was on the other day. Fright Night. Absolutely classic vampire film. Roddy McDowell, Amanda Beers from Married with Children. Love it. Just this is a cheesy freaking, it's a classic. Fright Night is an absolute classic. This is a really, really, really good horror movie right here. And it's comedic as well, but this is good. I showed you Psycho before. I also have Psycho 2 and Psycho 3. They just have to be part of the collection. Why not? Anytime you can get Norman Bates, you might as well buy the Norman Bates films. I have the remake of Night of the Living Dead, which I actually really like because it is almost exactly the same, just different actors, and it's in color. But Tony Todd is in this. He's the Candyman. He stars in this. But again, Night of the Living Dead it's one of the most classic zombie films ever made. So this is good. Night of the Creeps. I waited forever for this film to come out on DVD. Killer slugs from outer space. They jump in your mouth. They incubate in your brain. They kill you off. They explode out of your head, and then they do it again. Tom Atkins, probably his best performance. The cliches are everywhere in this movie. The names. Her name is Cynthia Cronenberg for David Cronenberg. Christopher Romero for George Romero. And John Carpenter Hooper, I believe, or Christopher, whatever it is. It's like whatever. They use all the horror name directors. Straight out of the 50s B science fiction horror movies. They did it in the 80s. 1986, again, was a great year for horror movies. You have got to watch Night of the Creeps if you have not seen Night of the Creeps. This is a popular horror movie, but this is amazing. Hellbreeder, $1.97. Never watched it. Don't know what it is. Don't know what it's about. It was $1.97. I bought it to put in my damn horror collection. Anyone ever seen Hellbreeder? Can you tell me about it? Because I've never watched it. The Blob remake. Another one. This is another remake I actually think was better than the original. I just like this a lot better. The effects are a lot better, and this is a pretty good movie. Also, what's her face? So Shawnee Smith is in this, and she is well known for her role in the Saw films, but she's much younger in this. And the Blob remake is a good one. We're almost done. I don't have much more over there, so I might as well finish this off. Okay, this is the end of them. Death Ship with George Kennedy. The one thing I was very disappointed about with this is an all-region DVD player. Didn't know this was an all-region DVD. I can't play it in my DVD player. I don't know why I've got rid of it. I've never, played it in your PS4, but I don't have PS4. I don't have an all-region DVD player. So I watched it on YouTube. Actually, a really good movie. Not great, but it's pretty good. It's a haunted ghost ship type thing. George Kennedy's in it. Not a bad movie. Not a great movie, but Death Ship, just out of the realm of these are 20 short films or 20 films by Alfred Hitchcock. I'm not going to go over all of them. I haven't even opened this yet, but Lady Vanishes, Farmer's Wife. Like these are his early horror, like early movies that he did in the 20s and 30s. So I haven't watched yet, but there's 20 films in this thing. This is another thing. I don't even know what this is. Somebody burned Getaway for me. I don't even know what the hell that's doing in there. Somebody burned You're Next for me. I don't know what You're Next is either. Don't know. Somebody burned these for me, and I have them in my collection. Roger Corman's Piranha, the original Piranha, not the stupid remake. Check the cover out. You see those things moving around? So, just that's a nice cheesy 77. Back in 1977, obviously, biting off the film Jaws. They just made piranhas that kill people. Terror Train with Jamie Lee Curtis, another classic killer on a train type of thing. I hate when the DVDs are blank, but Terror Train is a pretty good film. It's underrated in my opinion. Not a bad film, not a great film. Not as good as Prom Night. Like Prom Night's better, I think. I think BBD mentioned It's Alive. There's It's Alive. Killer baby comes out of the womb, eats people. Really, really stupid. But you got to have It's Alive in your collection if you collect horror movies. So I don't think Elizabeth Shue was in. I think she'd be, unless she was really young. I don't remember. But there's It's Alive. Classic vampire movie, The Lost Boys. This is a great film. and probably my favorite vampire film. Maybe Fright Night's up there. Well, maybe Dracula is probably my favorite vampire film, but The Lost Boys is a really good movie. Yes, I have Rosemary's Baby. I showed it earlier in this stream, but The Lost Boys is a good movie. Creepshow 2. It's certainly not as good as the original Creepshow, but obviously everyone remembers the oil slick that eats the people on the raft. I like the one at the end. I like the hitchhiker myself. There's only 3 stories in this one. It's not as good as the first one, but it's not terrible either. So Creepshow 2. Living Dead at Manchester Morgue. I don't know how many of you have seen Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, but once again, this is a British horror film, and again, it's pretty much exactly what it says it is. The living dead are coming after people, and everyone trying to cash in. I think this was made in 1974. This is a 2 DVD edition of it. So this is a pretty good movie too. Again, probably something you guys haven't really seen a lot, but there's that. Prom Night 2. Hello, Mary Lou. Prom Night 2. Not really a great movie. But it was Prom Night 2, so I had to buy the damn thing. A really underrated movie is House on Sorority Row. Again, early 80s cheesy slasher. If you've seen one of these, you've seen them all. But this is not a bad. The ending of this is pretty good. The killer is pretty good. It's pretty creepy. The ending of it's a pretty damn good movie. I know we've talked about this before. The Stepfather with Terry O'Quinn. Great movie. You should watch this one. This is a really good movie. Not the freaking remake again. The remake is caca, but the original Stepfather is a very, very good movie. Again, I did the same thing here. There's 8 films on this. I don't really know what the hell they are. It's called Autopsy. It's not to be confused with Autopsy from 1975, which I showed earlier. But again, these are just 8 short films, I believe, and I've never watched this. I think somebody got me this as a present, but I haven't really watched that, so I can't say about it. The Changeling. This is a really good psychological horror, again, haunted house type of thing with George C. Scott, who I absolutely love. George C. Scott. He was a fantastic actor. But The Changeling is another really good horror movie. I'm not going over all these, guys. There's 50 horror movies on this thing. Okay, these are all your public domain horror movies. I'll pick out the ones that you may have heard of: Carnival of Souls, White Zombie, Attack of the Giant Leeches, The Terror, Beast of Yucca Flats, which is one of the worst movies ever made. The Giant Gila Monster is on here. Metropolis is actually a really good horror movie. It's a silent horror movie. The Vampire Bat, The Killer Shrews, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the silent version of it. Bluebeard, Night of Living Dead is on here. So this is where I have Night of Living Dead, the original Night of Living Dead. The Phantom of the Opera is on here. Nosferatu is on here. Tormented is on here. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Jack Nicholson is in Tormented. The Amazing Mr. X. The Bat with Vincent Price. House on Haunted Hill, the original Vincent Price, which I love the original House on Haunted Hill. Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price and Dementia 13. Those are some of the things on here, but there's 50 horror movies on here. Again, I wasn't going to go over all of them. I don't know what the hell this is. I don't even know what the hell this is. I don't know what the hell the cellar door is. I don't even know where the hell these came from, to be honest with you. The Unborn. Like, I don't even know what the hell these are. I don't know where these came from. Somebody burned these for me and gave them to me. Rear Window. This is probably my favorite Alfred Hitchcock film. Well, no, Psycho is, but Rear Window is awesome. I mean, with Jimmy Stewart, the man. Let's see. Just I like when you get like a high quality freaking DVD case and DVD stuff. But Rear Window is a classic Hitchcock movie, and just a really, really, really good movie. Last but not least, again, this isn't really a horror thing. This is more of a television show that I absolutely loved when I was a kid. It was very popular in the early 80s. If you guys are my age, you probably remember V, The Visitors. You remember that? So I got the original V, right? The original made-for-TV movie, and I got The Final Battle. If you guys remember this, like you guys might remember these, and then I have the entire television series. So it took me almost 3 hours to go through all my horror movies, but that is it, guys. That is my horror film collection. So now what I have to do is put all those damn things back, which is going to take a little while to do. But again, guys, I appreciate you joining me for this. I'm sorry I did not interact as much with you on this live stream just because, again, I had a ton of stuff to go through there. I really appreciate all you guys joining me. I know that took a long time. I told you I have just a ton of freaking horror movies. I'm hoping that you found some horror movies in there that you will check out and that you will enjoy. Like I said, if you like horror movies, you are going to see something in there that you probably have never seen. Mostly the Italian stuff, I would imagine. But again, I told you I have some very obscure crap in there, and just I love them, and I will keep collecting them because I just, for whatever, like I said, I told you guys, there's a lot of things I have to still buy. It's just I can't buy every one of them at one time, but there are things I definitely want to add to my collection, and a lot of it's Italian horror movies. Like I said, Eyeball is one. I would like to get Terror in the Isles. There's a lot. There's probably another 50 or 60 horror movies I want. I want some of the early Fulci stuff. I want Don't Torture a Duckling. I want Lizard in a Woman's Skin. I bought a lot of horror films. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I really am. I know that took a long time. So, but thank you guys for the applause or whatever that is. I appreciate it. So I don't have Alien, if you can believe that. I do not have Alien in my collection. I have to buy Alien. I don't have it. Surprisingly enough, it's like one of the absolute classic movies that is not in my collection for whatever reason. I just never picked the damn thing up because I usually try to find, like I said, I look for more out of print stuff that I believe is going to go out of print, and I'm afraid it's going to cost a lot of money. So I try to grab it when it's not popular. Whether I know Aliens, I can get forever. I'm never going to have a problem finding Alien or Aliens for that matter. So again, I appreciate you all hanging out with me tonight. I am doing the live stream tomorrow night. Even though that game is horrible, I'm going to do it anyway. So I hope you join me for the football game tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this live stream tonight, and I hope you all had a great Halloween and enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you tomorrow. Bad dog, I'm out. Peace.